calling the work session meeting of December 9th to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilmember Brusher.
Here.
Councilmember Boyle.
Here.
Councilmember Harris. Here. Councilmember Patel.
Here.
Councilmember Patil.
Here.
Councilmember Pointer. Councilmember Shmuel.
Here.
Madam Clerk, adequate notice, please.
I put notice that this meeting is required by the Open Public Meeting Act of 1975 has been provided by the Anthony Edison to the Home News Tribune, Star Ledger, Desert Talk, and News Indian Times on December 12th, 2023, at Post Main Lobby Municipal Complex on that same date.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving on to Council President's remarks. Good evening, everyone. I want to begin by addressing the concerns that have been raised over the past few weeks. I take full responsibility for my actions and decisions. I want to offer a sincere apology. This moment has been an opportunity for reflection, and I have thought deeply about how I can do better moving forward. Let me be clear. I made a mistake. As the person charged with maintaining the decorum of this chamber, the responsibility to get this right is mine. In my effort to uphold order, I made an error in judgment. One that unintentionally gave the impression that the symbols like the American flag or the Constitution were being diminished. That was never the intent. And I regret that my actions sent that message. The flag, the Constitution, and the symbols of the countries are sacred. They represent the values and sacrifice that bind us together as a nation. And they deserve our utmost respect. To be clear, the ordinance at the center of this issue does not ban flags, the Constitution, or any symbol of our nation. The flag is here in this chamber, and we pledge allegiance to it at the start of every meeting. These symbols are not just present, they are cherished. To make our intent crystal clear, and to ensure this misunderstanding never occurs again, I am introducing a resolution tonight to formally capture and reinforce that intent. The intent of this ordinance has always been to create a space where everyone can speak, listen, and engage in meaningful dialogue without distraction or disruptions. However, I understand that my handling of the situation has caused frustration and concerns. For that, I apologize again. I have learned an important lesson from this experience, and I want to thank the community for holding me accountable and showing me the importance of unity even in disagreement. Moving forward, I ask for your understanding. Mistakes happen, but what matters most is that what we learn from them and how we can move forward together. I hope we can focus on the critical work of serving this township, a responsibility we all share. Let us move past this moment and return to what brings us here, the desire to make our community stronger. I am committed to doing my part, and I invite you to join me in that effort. Now, Madam Clerk, please read the resolution.
A resolution designating display of the American flag, Constitution, and other founding documents as protected speech. Whereas the Township of Edison has recently enacted ordinance number 2239-2024, which set forth rules of decorum at public meetings of the Edison Township Council. Whereas the ordinance does not and never intended to ban a member of the public from displaying the American flag, the United States Constitution, or any other founding documents of the United States. Whereas the purpose of the decorum ordinance is to provide a framework for the orderly and effective conduct of the township's public meetings. And whereas the clear intent of the ordinance is to protect only those behaviors which are in fact disruptive to the meeting and impair the council's ability to conduct the business of the township. And whereas the Township of Edison wishes to clearly express its respect for those symbols representing American freedom and democracy. And whereas the Township Council, the Mayor, and the administration of the Township of Edison wish to be known that display of the American flag, the United States Constitution, and other founding documents to be considered protected speech that is welcome in the council chambers. Now therefore be resolved by the Township of Edison Municipal Council as follows. Ordinance number 2239-2024 does not include a prohibition on the display of the American flag and the United States Constitution or any other founding documents of the United States. The Township of Edison respects, honors, and welcomes all displays of the American flag in council chambers. The rules of decorum are intended to be enforced only against those behaviors which are in fact disruptive to the orderly and effective execution of the Township's ability to conduct the business of the town and shall be interpreted accordingly. The resolution shall take effect immediately.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Point of order. That's not
Now-
on the agenda.
Now I'm going to be moving on to oral petitions and remarks.
Point of
And
order.
Starting off with
Point of order.
Joel
Point
Basso.
of order. Privilege.
It's not on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda. Robert's rules.
So, Councilman, this is a work session, correct? So this is an item that I believe the Council President has asked to be added to the agenda for the meeting on Wednesday, correct?
On Wednesday, you're gonna add it? or-
No,
Yeah, it's, tonight he's adding it to the agenda for the meeting. Remember, this is a work session meeting, so it's added.
Point of order.
The clerk is just going to give it a number, and I'm not sure what number that is.
No, if I have in my sheet, would be listed under the clerk, or is it under the chief of police? Like, at what point do I get to speak about this?
It should be under 15.
15.
Point of order.
Joel
Point
Basso.
of order. You have to address it. It's a public meeting.
Sir, hi, I'm Lorraine, I'm the attorney. Point of orders are for the council members, the members of this is now the time for you to speak, so you'll have a chance to speak.
Robert's
Why not?
rules.
No, but you're not a member of the governing body, so you don't get to make motions. I apologize.
Point of privilege.
I think Mr. Bassoff is the first person we called. Mr. Bassoff, you can come up.
It's not in here.
May I address?
Joel Vassoff, 17 Beach Lane, Edison.
You're recognized.
So, Mr. President, I'd like to address something that I wanted to bring up at the last council meeting, but I didn't have a chance. I'd like you to address the eviction of the Edison Art Society from its exhibition space on the 3rd floor of the municipal building. You know, arts enhance our lives, and it serves as a form of expression that's often more eloquent than words. The eviction of the Art Society bothers me, not only because art should hold an honored and prominent space in this, the people's building, but also because I personally know what it feels like to be expelled from the municipal building. On your orders, the police removed me from the podium twice, once for referring to a copy of the Constitution that I held up in my hand, and then referring to an American flag that I held in my hand. The second time, you had the police eject me from the chamber and ask me to leave the building. So based on rules that existed only in your own head, you declared that the Constitution and the American flag were, quote, props and constituted a breach of decorum. My understanding now, based on this current resolution, is that you're going to be engaging in some form of viewpoint discrimination. So now certain objects will be acceptable and certain objects will not be acceptable for expressing yourself in a constitutionally protected manner. It'll be interesting to hear how the attorney parses that out when that ends up being questioned. So also, nobody who was watching the meeting on Edison TV could see what was happening because someone ordered Edison TV not to show the podium anymore. You and the mayor don't want the viewing public to get a full picture of what happens here because you feel threatened by transparency. So fortunately, New Brunswick Today recorded the meeting. Everyone who wants to see what happens at the last meeting could go to nb.today, and hopefully while you're there, you'll support local investigative journalism by clicking on the donate button, because without local press, a lot of what happens here just goes under the radar. Also, you can go to YouTube and search for New Brunswick Today. Another way for people to see what you and the mayor don't want the public to see is to go to Facebook and join the group Edison NJ Taxpayers. It'll be enlightening. Also, you could go to the blog Paul Not People, blogspot.com, and you'll learn a lot about the way Edison spends its money. wisely or not. Finally, a group that's defending free speech in Edison, there's the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression. You could go to thefire.org, read a news release about Edison, and hopefully click on the donate button there too. So I'd like you to look to your right and focus on the American flag that's at the front of the room and think about what it means when you pledge your allegiance to that flag. And by the way, now that I've called your attention to that flag, I hope you still have decorum in the room, except if you do look at that flag, you're no longer focused on the speaker at the podium. So I'll hold up the flag to make it easier to get your attention. And as you can see, decorum has not changed. We still have decorum in the room. No matter what someone holds in their hand, the decorum doesn't change. So when you recited your Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, you also pledged your allegiance to the republic for which it stands, and that's based on a constitution that guarantees us certain rights, and that includes the right to petition the government for redress of grievances. You voted to curtail that right by cutting our speaking time by 33%, and it also gives us the right to freedom of speech. So you should want these meetings to be fully transparent to the public. So what I'm going to ask you to do right now, since it's supposed to be your meeting, direct to Edison TV right now to start focusing on the podium so that members of the public who can't make it here can get a full picture of what goes on. People want to see which neighbors of theirs are speaking out on issues that concern them. They want to see what members of the public are speaking on these issues. So why don't you do that right now, direct Edison TV to focus on whoever's speaking, whether on the dais or at the podium. Why don't you do that? That's the question. Why don't you do that?
Joe, I'll listen.
Okay, well, here's what I'll do. I'm holding up a picture of the Great Seal of Edison, okay? It says, our motto, let there be light. That indicates that we're supposed to be enlightened here. We're supposed to shed light on things. And one of the ways of shedding light on things is broadcasting what happens at these meetings. If you don't broadcast the full extent of what goes on at this meeting, you're not letting there be light. You're casting a good portion of the township in darkness. And that's not what you're supposed to do. Your interest is supposed to be for the public and not just protecting the mayor and yourselves from criticism, which is what you're doing now. So how about it? Let's let Edison TV focus on everything that's going on at this meeting. Let there be light. That's our motto. Uphold it. And I asked a question about the Law Society.
Yes, and I will be answering all the questions at the end, and we will have a lot of people to get through, and I want to make sure we hear everybody first. Moving on to Ben Frank. Yes, Mr. Frank.
Are you changing how we normally do it? Because normally they come up and speak, we answer their questions, and now you're changing it again. You're if you're going to do that, I'm going to say you're inconsistent and irresponsible and reckless, and that's what has led to this meeting. That's a statement. I asked you, I just said, if you're going to change the meeting format again over and over, you're irresponsible and reckless.
Moving on to Ben Frank.
Resign.
Name and address.
You should resign.
Name and address.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sean Paul Wiggins. I'm an independent journalist and constitutional activist. I came here today to speak directly to Mayor Sam Joshi. I see the mayor isn't here tonight, which is unfortunate. You think the so-called leader of the township would be here, but I guess he is hiding in shame. No worries, though. I will be sure to send him the link to this video so you can take a look. I'm sure he'll take a look at it. So I was going to say some other things. I'll get to that. Your apology was really weak. It wasn't a misunderstanding. You got called out by the mainstream media for violating the First Amendment, for being unpatriotic, for trying to control people. This has nothing to do with decorum. You see all these people here today with their flags? Decorum has not been interrupted in any single way. You wanted to control, all of you want to control, most of you wanted to control what we the people do while we're standing at the podium. Because it's about control, it's about power. Nothing to do with a misunderstanding, props, or anything else. What if I had a Bible in my hand? What if I had a cross in my hand? Are those banned as well? And I think the lawyer made a great point about it being viewpoint, it's not viewpoint neutral, so we'll let the court decide with that. But again, I thought your apology was, lackluster to say the least. So I will say that hold on one second. During my years of activism, I've seen a lot of tyranny and corruption, but to ban the US flag and Constitution is something I've never seen or heard of before. This is why I decided to come here tonight from Long Island, New York, and show my big, beautiful American flag. And I was told by somebody in the media that you didn't ban the flag, you just banned the waving of the flag. So I'll do that too, just in case. But you definitely walked everything back. I want to read, I will not back down, I will not be intimidated. Now that this story has got national media coverage, I am told that you will not be doing damage control. You will be doing damage control about the waving of the flag. So, if you're going to arrest anybody for having a flag, do it to me. I have good lawyers, and you can check my track record when it comes to dealing with tyrants. Long Island Audit on YouTube, check it out. So what's going on here in Edison is completely pathetic and tyrannical. It makes complete sense though, seeing as your mayor, Sam Joshi, has been accused of pay-to-play corruption and sexual assault, which all of you have been made aware of, and have done nothing about. My friend and fellow activist Leroy Truth is going to go into specifics on the sexual assault allegations as he interviewed the victim of the mayor. I just want to read one of the mayor's classmates, what one of the mayor's classmates wrote about him. I went to J.P. Stevens High School with Sam Joshi. And I remember when we were seniors, I saw him do some sexual predator behavior, things at a party we are at. Not rape, but early signs. Making girls uncomfortable. He always struck me as an opportunist and someone with no morals. He just tries to get what he wants. Sadly, that kind of megalomaniac mentality can get a person into office, as I'm sure most of you know. As mayor, apparently. Thank you, Leroy and Councilman Brusher, for shedding light on this and helping speak for this victim and hopefully serve some justice. This is about more than just, excuse me, one second. This is about more than banning the flag and Constitution. That's how it started and what got the national media attention. But when independent journalism started to look closer, we found so much more. This is about ousting Mayor Sam Joshi, who is tyrannical, corrupt, and by all accounts a sexual deviant, which is why I will be supporting Councilman Richard Brusher for mayor. I have spoken to the councilman and he has assured me that he will bring about positive change here in Edison. I look forward to him winning the election and evicting Sam Joshi. United, we the people are strong and will take back our government. Thank you for your time. Lackluster apology, do better. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Leroy Truth.
Hello, everyone.
Name and address, please.
I'm Leroy Truth of Leroy Truth Investigations, and I encourage you to all subscribe to my channel, Leroy Truth Investigations, on YouTube and Facebook. Now, first of all, we're here because of this man right here, and Christo. He's been relentlessly speaking truth to corruption. So I want to acknowledge you. And that's why I'm here, that's why Long Island Audit is here, and that's why everyone is here. Thank you for what you do. Jersey Watch on YouTube.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Now, the flag is the least of your worries. Rape! Rape is the most vile thing a man can do to a woman. I am here because a woman came forward to me. She came forward to me, and she had a story. I'm going to read you her story. I interviewed her yesterday along with the extraordinary Richard Drescher, councilman here, who I'm also supporting for mayor. This story is vile. And Sam Joshi, who is the coward as always, he doesn't come to these meetings, he is accused of anally raping a woman. He can't be in office for 1 second more. Yet none of you, except Richard Brexler, has done an investigation as to what went on. The story. As a sexual assault survivor myself, I understand the incredible courage it takes to speak out. For 4 years, starting at the age of 7, I was sexually assaulted by a Catholic priest. And it took me 33 years to get justice. so I know what this woman went through. This vile story begins during the COVID-19 lockdowns. A man in his mid-30s, the mayor of Edison, New Jersey, befriended a woman through Facebook who was 25 years his senior, old enough to be his mother. That man is called Mayor Sam Joshi. Let's call him Mayor Sam. Over time, the conversations grew more frequent on Facebook, and he earned her trust. One day, Mayor Sam, during the middle of the pandemic, in the midst of the severe lockdowns, broke the law and invited the woman to his home. She declined, reminding him of the lockdowns and his responsibility as mayor to enforce them. He insisted, "It's okay, I'm the mayor." But she stood her ground. Months later, he invited her again. By this point, she believed him to be a friend and had heard from others in Edison that he was gay, which is all good. Feeling no threat, she decided to accept his invitation into his home. When she arrived at his gated community condominium, Mayor Sam began making drinks for her. Different concoctions, one after another. Some tasted off. She didn't think much of it at first, but after several drinks, she began to feel extraordinarily ill. She started vomiting uncontrollably. "Please don't let me die," she begged Mayor Sam Joshi. She was that ill. She was terrified. But instead of calling 911 or taking her to the emergency room, Mayor Sam Joshi did the unthinkable. As this woman lay on a bed trying to stop the room from spinning and from vomiting continuously, he raped her, according to this woman. He anally penetrated her aggressively. This is your mayor that you love to take photo ops with and support. He anally penetrated her aggressively, she said, without her consent and with no regard for her or her condition. It was cold, calculated, and utterly violating. What kind of man does this, she thought? What kind of man rapes a woman who is vomiting so violently she thinks she might die? But Governor Murphy loves Mayor Sam Joshi as well. After the assault, she expected him to show remorse, to apologize, but he did not. Determined to seek justice, she filed a police report. But instead of action, she faced a system designed to protect the powerful. And I'm ashamed of all the women on here who should absolutely have been protecting her if the men wouldn't. The Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office did nothing. New Jersey Attorney General Matt Platkin did nothing. Edison council members, except for Richard Drescher, did nothing. The cover-up had begun. This woman was victimized all over again by a system that should have fought for her. That's when she found me, Leroy Truth of Leroy Truth Investigations. She shared her story, and I had the honor of interviewing her on my YouTube channel. I stand with her now, demanding justice and accountability for this horrendous crime. And I hope each one of you will do the same going forth from this meeting tonight. To the people of Edison, New Jersey and beyond, this woman's story demands action. Mayor Sam Joshi must be held accountable and must be investigated immediately upon the conclusion of this meeting. Anally raping a woman who is incapacitated, vomiting, and begging for her life and for help isn't just criminal, it's the behavior of a sexual predator. I look forward to hearing of Mayor Sam Joshi's indictment very soon. Do the right thing for this woman and for all women who have been raped and sexually assaulted throughout the United States and the entire world. We must protect women and hold those who violate them accountable for the full extent of the law, period. And I so look forward to each of you now doing the right thing. You did the wrong thing, but now's the time to do the right thing. Support this woman. Have an immediate investigation into the actions and the allegations against Mayor Sam Joshi. Thank you.
We gather here today not just for the flag
Name and
banner.
address, please.
No, thank you. We gather here today not just for the flag banner. It's bigger than that. This is a direct attempt to silence one person, Christo Macropolis. For years, I've watched Christo endure relentless bullying from the Edison Council and Edison Police. Enough is enough. The flag ban is just the tip of the iceberg, a symptom
of a larger calculated effort to suppress his opposition. Cutting the speaking time from 6 minutes to 4 minutes isn't about improving efficiency. It's about stopping Christo from exposing all the corruption in Edison. Why else would they target him? This is not only about Christo, but every citizen's right to free speech. When you suppress one's voice, you threaten us all. Edison Council has repeatedly violated our constitutional rights, expelling people from meetings, expressing their opinions that they don't like. This is undemocratic and an abuse of power. Let's be clear. This scandal is more than just about the flag. It's about attacking aspects of the First Amendment. The council has banned props to justify suppressing Christo's use of symbolic tools for his protests. But because they had to ban everything, they got caught up in their actions, which included the flag, a national symbolic unity of freedom. I demand the Attorney General investigate the Chief of Police and Council President Nish Patel for directing officers to enforce unconstitutional policies, and I demand charges against Christo be dropped immediately. These charges are political tools to silence him. This council has shown time and time again that there is no respect for the Constitution or the people it serves. I encourage you to go to Christo's channel, Jersey Watcher, to witness the corruption at these meetings and the disgraceful interactions with the Edison police. He has truly been treated like garbage by the authorities in this town. He has been kicked out of meetings, arrested, assaulted by Edison police, shown nothing but disrespect, and I'm tired of it. You really treat him differently, and it shows. We will be here every meeting until this clown show stops. When you visit his channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. It took Joe Bassoff getting kicked out of the meeting, and Russ Alzarello, Ted Cruz saying, Russ Alzarello making the news, Ted Cruz saying it's a disgrace, and the new board czar John Holman saying this is un-American, to expose what this town truly is, the laughingstock of America. To the council members who voted for this ordinance, you are unfit for office, and I demand your resignation. I also demand that the Bar Association investigate Mike Burns and Assembly President Craig Coughlin's law firm. Mayor Sam Joshi's alleged misconduct must also be investigated to ensure accountability at every level. The Edison Council has violated Christo's rights for years, and now they're trying to take away your rights too. You cannot put the blame on Christo for simply exercising his free speech. This is his right, and it's granted to all Americans by the First Amendment. Christo has been persecuted for speaking out, but his actions are a direct reflection of the freedoms we are supposed to enjoy in this country. This is not just about Christo, but it's about the fundamental rights that protect us from oppression. When you silence him, they attempt to silence us all. We stand in here today, we make it clear, we will not be silenced, we will not be intimidated, we will continue to speak out against corruption and fight for the injustice and transparency this town deserves. We are the people.
David Ronco.
Stephen Rocco. So if you notice, they put that in the agenda, completely illegal, so you didn't even vote on it, nobody discussed it, nothing. It's not on the agenda, it's against the law. So we'll file a complaint with the OPMA with that. The reason why we are all here is because for years, Krista Metropolis, Jersey Watcher on YouTube, like and subscribe, has been subjected to this unjust treatment. His rights have been trampled upon, and his voice has been silenced. If you notice, they cut out that little section so that we can still go after anybody that uses a prop. They cut that out, so that's illegal too. This is unacceptable. We must stand together and ensure that every member of our community has the right to speak freely without the fear of retribution. I fear as the scandal subsides, they're going to go back to creating unconstitutional ordinances, or worse, enforcing them with help from the police. Christo has been charged with crimes for his political speech to silence him. I demand every charge be dismissed. You see, they have all the power. They can charge us, but we can't charge them, even though they're the criminals. Edison has destroyed his life at every turn. This scandal is more than a flag. It stopped all aspects of the First Amendment because they had to do all or nothing to ban props. They got caught because the flag is a national symbol. The Democrats hate the flag and what it represents. The Edison Council has repeatedly violated our fundamental rights to free speech by threatening to expel and expelling individuals, including myself, from meetings, simply expressing our opinions. This is not only a violation of our constitutional rights, but also an affront to the principles of democracy that we hold dear. We warned you at several meetings for months. Bong Holyoke, me, Pat Duff, Lefty Grimes, Krista McCropolis. We told you this is illegal. We gave you the case law. Do not cry that we didn't know as ignorance of the law. It's no excuse. How did it work out for you? They're not even paying attention. That's how much they give a shit. You'll never hold office again. You're done. When public's time to speak, it's their time to speak. Don't attempt or interrupt or forfeit their time for exercising our right to address our government. I demand the Attorney General investigates the Chief of Police. I filed an IA today against the Chief of Police and the officers that enforce those illegal, unconstitutional orders. Known illegal demands of the Council President, Ms. Patel. I hope that Crystal gets the same attention from fire with the ACLU to sue Edison into oblivion. He is the reason we are all here. He is the reason the ordinance was implemented. He is the reason this atrocity occurred. Thank you, Joan, for being the spotlight and taking this on for us. Each council member that voted yes on this ordinance isn't fit for office. I demand your resignation. I demand the bar investigates Mike Burns and the Assembly President Craig Coughlin's law firm. I demand the bar revoke your license. I demand the Attorney General investigates the allegations that Mayor Sam Joshi sexually assaulted and date raped several women, allegedly, including one that was interviewed by Councilman Brescher and Leroy Truth. I have several complaints to the bar, the OPIA, the Attorney General's office. I hope everyone does the same, creating a paper trail and demanding accountability and justice. Your apology on Facebook was comical. You're a clown. And immediately after you say, I'm sorry for violating the First Amendment, the first thing you do is you turn off commenting. Again, violating our First Amendment right. And that case is Blanco versus Carteret. That's not your page. We own that page. That's a government page. It's been ruled on. You violate our First Amendment rights again, immediately after. What's wrong with you? First Amendment that guarantees our right to free speech and expression by threatening and expel individuals from meetings. The council attempted to stifle dissent and silence those who dare to speak against their actions. It's not only undemocratic, but a blatant abuse of power. You should be charged with 2C36, crime of official deprivation of civil rights and official misconduct. And Chief, you're here, you witnessed it. Deputy Dudas, you witnessed it. Where are the charges? You just ignore it. Because again, your guys are in power, so you're not going to charge your guys, but you'll charge us. Recent incidents have highlighted this ongoing issue. For instance, Joe Bassoff, an Edison resident and attorney, was removed by police from a town council meeting for holding a small American flag in protest of this new rule, which bans such items, including the U.S. Constitution and other props, for public comment portion at town meetings, including masks. How come you're not going after me tonight? Because it's bullshit, that's why. You guys have tried to stifle our rights with Roosevelt versus New Jersey, and I've told you that several times. You just ignore it. But now I can curse because there's people here, right? So when these guys are gone, you're going to do the same thing again, right?
Council President?
One second, let me finish.
Well, the reason why I say this is we're not live anymore, and everybody is accusing us of shutting down the live stream.
Wow.
Fire Edison TV!
Unreal. Unfucking real.
Council President, if I could, we know there's a technical issue.
Where's the transparency?
It's my time to talk.
the motion to recess.
It's my time to talk.
Yeah, let him finish. Continue his time.
Would you prefer to wait for the...
No.
Reset his time. Reset his time.
Council President, time.
Reset his time. He wasn't live. The whole public can't even hear his
Pause his
testimony.
time, we'll finish his time, and then we'll take a recess with that.
Put it
You
back
want to
at
cover up, you're violating my rights, and you're getting called out for
Continue,
it.
sir.
Put it back at 38. I was at 38.
Sir, you can...
I was at 38. You're in violation. Oh, Jesus Christ. I hope he rebukes you. Is this a problem? Is this a problem?
You got a problem, Nish? Chief of Detectives, how
Council
do you
President,
say?
to consider taking legal action against the town council to protect the First Amendment rights of every citizen. We demand accountability from our elected officials. We must insist that they respect our rights and uphold the principles of democracy. We must stand together and make our voices heard. We will not be silenced. We will not be intimidated. You know, how come you're not surrounding us tonight with threat of arrest?
Thank you. Can I get a motion to recess for 5 minutes?
Is this a problem?
Motion to recess?
May I have a second? That's motion by Council Vice President, second by Councilor Pointer. All in favor? We'll be back in 5 minutes. All right, reconvene the work session meeting. May I get a motion to reconvene? May I get a second? Motion by Councilor Pointer, second by Councilor Patio. So we can continue.
Please quiet down for a second. Council President has the floor. Go ahead, Council President.
Thank you. Gloria Dittman. Gloria Dittman.
Council President, does the last speaker want to restart his time and come back up at a later time? I just want to make sure we yield that time back to him if you choose to do that.
Good job, Joe. Thank you. Good job, bud.
The lights.
Hi, my name's Gloria Dittman, Midland Road in Edison.
You recognize. Thank you.
I was here the last time and I inquired about Edison Art Society being removed from this building. I also had a question about Edison TV televising community events. I was hoping that in this period, this 2-week period, that someone would have called me and given me an answer. I haven't heard from anyone. I was wondering if anyone has an answer for me tonight.
We will be answering everything at the end.
I'm sorry?
We will be answering everything at the end.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and by the way, I do accept your apology. I think it takes a special person to admit they were wrong, and we all do make mistakes. That was a big one, but thank you.
Thank you, Gloria. Joyce Sheffield.
Just take it off.
Here's the warrant.
Joyce Freeman,
You recognize.
Edison, New Jersey.
You
I will start off with Democrats do love the flag also, all right? Just certain things happen. I just want to talk about how we got to this point where everybody's here all over the place. How we got to this point, we started in 2023 when this older gentleman started talking about broadband and he was admonished by one of the council members screaming at him he wasn't being able to get his rebuttal back. Then next what happened was the council meetings that were filmed, they started hiding the stuff from the seniors so that we could not see the meetings. Everybody's like, where'd they go? Where'd they go? So they were at 10 o'clock at night. All right, then, even though we got an outstanding police department in Edison, I don't care what other people say, police were now being utilized to come to our meetings. There's 4 or 5 policemen, which could have been other places, because most of the time, whether y'all believe it or not, there's only about 10 of us that come to the meeting, all right? So, and then people were escorted out of the meetings if they dared to ask a complex question or they dissented, all right? So then, one member decides to wear a mask, so that becomes a big issue. The mask becomes a big issue. And I don't know if you guys, anybody knows like Elmer Fudd, where he went into the house, he seen a little mouse, he shot up the whole building. and still didn't kill the mouse. So that's the incident that comes to my mind, okay? Next, it was the limit of free speech, all right? So now we cut down on the speech, you know what I mean? 1/3%, because I'm listening to the other guy, count up the amount of time that was taken away. They take away the free speech, then after that, they take away the rebuttals, all right? So then, after that, we're faced with the point of people saying that they're not showing you at the podium. They're not showing you. Like, if Charlie Crabtree didn't come here, you would never have known at the other meeting that we had. Next, we go to using props, and then you say it arbitrarily. I know for a fact, for real, nobody really wants to ban the flag, but they don't have great leadership skills. They don't have great leadership skills. So the leadership skills mess them up, like they go overboard because they don't have those skills, okay? So I'm just saying that about the flag and stuff for people, so people can get a better understanding of it. Then, the disrespect, of the flag and all that, that's whatever. And then they were saying about, and I forgot the meeting chaotic. But the most chaotic meeting we had this year was in the earlier part of the year when it had to do with marijuana. That was the most chaotic out of all meetings that we had this year. I don't want you to think that we just have chaotic meetings all the time. And then I want to tell some people kindly when they talk about people that are a public nuisance. A public nuisance is why we have civil rights. A public nuisance is why women have the right to vote. A public nuisance is when they got Title IX. A public nuisance helps us a lot through all the different things we fight and we challenge for. We want somebody to challenge us. We don't want a chaotic, we don't want a ridiculous place, whatever. But if we just give 6 minutes to somebody, let them do their thing for 6 minutes. But don't punish the rest. Like if one of my kids is acting up, I don't tell the whole class you can't have recess today. That's not fair. And that's why people are upset, because it's no fairness in it. You can't punish everybody for what you may think some other person might be. All right? I'm just, I'm very sad that we came to this point. I'm very sad that we're all over the news. Because I've always been proud of Edison, because I've lived here my whole life. And all of this stuff, this is too much. All this just so you can gain control? What is it? And no transparency? What is this thing about control? It's like somebody you're just like obsessed with power. All right? And you listen and you learn, that's how you grow as an individual. Because that's what I did. I listened to people when I was in positions to listen to people. And I still do, even in other positions. At all. You can't stand up and you can't smirk at people and you can't go and it's like, oh, we'll just go along with it. All right? Because there's more time spent on the gas rebuttaling each other back and forth than it is the people in the audience. So if you want to be honest and tell the truth about it, just say, oh, we did a mad overreach. And that's what we did. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. So this is Miyoki Entiali.
Yep. My name is Boki Kayali from 2901 Rivendell Way.
You're recognized.
I see that you have a lawyer with you, and you had a lawyer with you during the last meeting. Now, I'm a layman in terms of what the law would consider me. However, I think the spirit of the First Amendment is very clear. To me, a layman, and to a lawyer, and even to my daughter, who is in 8th grade. It is extremely clear on what our rights are in as far as having time to speak is concerned. Now, I don't know why anybody would spend thousands of dollars to get a lawyer for something that is very simple. So, I'll read the First Amendment so that we are clear where we stand with this. And it says, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or, very important, of the rights of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. I don't know why we are spending money on this. It's straightforward, it's simple. The people have a right to seek redress. The people have a right to come and question the decisions you make. And this will not come up if you were truly representing the people. Because from where I stand, you're going in one direction, the people are going a different direction. Totally different direction. You cannot force things down our throats. It's not going to happen. Because as I stand here, when I look to my left, when I look to my right, I see patriots. People who have sacrificed for this nation. People who have lost limbs for this nation. People who have lost kids for this nation. People who have lost parents for this nation. Who have sacrificed blood, shed tears for this nation. And then you cannot just turn around and take away those rights from us. We are the people. You are supposed to be representing us. You guys are acting like cancer. You are eating the society that you are living. There is no other way of explaining this. You guys are cancerous. That's the only way to explain this. When you stand up and say, oh, we're going to limit the time for efficiency. Efficiency for who, for what, for whom, for where? We never said we are not efficient. And the people we're targeting are all citizens of Edison. Because they're all, and it's called ageism. You're discriminating against them because of their age. You need to remember that. You sit on those positions because of each one of us here, whether we voted for you or not. It doesn't matter. So this frivolous and juvenile kind of behavior that you're exhibiting really just tells me one thing. If you can't stand the heat, stay out of the kitchen. Thank you. Yeah.
Ray Copperwatts.
Ray Copperwatch, 12 Heward Avenue, Edison, New Jersey.
You're recognized.
And I look up there at the dais and I see 3 people that I know of. When I was council president here at that time, there's 3 people up there, I right down, who were known, I say. But anyway, I'm here because, as a past member, I watch on television basically the sign of the president who was utilizing a copy of the Constitution and, of course, the American flag. And I do have a copy of the Constitution here, and I read it fairly often. Every now and then I'll take a read parts of it anyway. And while he was here, he was escorted out of the building here, out of the meeting, because he had a flag and he had the Constitution and he was going to be using it for whatever he wanted to do in terms of the meeting itself. Well, I look at now, I say the thing, it was like 6 minutes to speak here at the council meeting. When I was on council, it was 2 minutes. Then we upped it to 4 minutes for people to speak, and I look now to get it up to 6 minutes to speak, which is pretty good. Pretty good. I just want to say that, one, watching that particular meeting and having somebody thrown out of the meeting, I can remember when I was on a council president, there were two people that were actually thrown out of the meeting at one time. There's a couple, and I'm sure the people up there know who I'm talking about. And I sent them out, and then called the police back and said, bring them back in, so to behave themselves. And they came back in and everything was fine. I didn't tell them that they couldn't come back or they would not be allowed to speak at the meetings. So I thought that was a good thing. So that was a good way to handle that particular situation. I just want to say that after watching the part on the television with the removal of the citizen here for having the flag and a constitution, I thought was sort of not the way it should be. I thought there was overreaction by the council, and I understand now that they're apologizing to a certain point of what they did. I think that's appropriate. Hopefully, that those kinds of things won't happen again. And the thing is, you look behind you, look how many people you have here. If you would have just let the person speak for 4 minutes or 6 minutes or whatever he had, and not said anything, there wouldn't be all these people here sitting tonight.
I know that's right.
So,
Say that again. I know that's
so
right.
anyway, thanks for letting me speak again. I know I'm rambling on a little bit, getting a little bit old. I came to this township when it wasn't Edison Township, it was Raritan Township. And it was a referendum as to whether it would be Nixon or it would be Edison Township, and Edison won. So I've been here a long time. My whole life has spent here at Edison. And it's certainly different. And certainly the decorum here at the meetings is a lot different than it was when I was here on the council. A lot, some of it were better, but some of it were the worst. But anyway, thank you for letting me speak, and hopefully the township will go on strong. Take care.
God bless you.
Emily Palazzo.
Hi, I'm Evelyn Loeffler, Edison, New Jersey.
You're recognized.
Thank you. I stand here before you today holding a simple yet powerful object. One that I believe encapsulates the very essence of our rights as citizens in this democracy. And let me just go on record and agree with Joyce here. I love this, and I'm a Democrat. As you're aware, the recent ban on flags at council meetings has raised concerns not only among those who wish to express their views, but also about the fundamental freedoms that we hold dear. The Constitution grants each of us the right to express ourselves, to speak our minds, and to communicate in ways that are meaningful to us. For many, words alone aren't enough. To deny this right is to infringe upon my ability to fully express myself. It is not just a physical object or an extension of my voice, it is my voice. Banning any item weakens the very foundation upon which this country was built. Additionally, I would like to express my concern regarding the recent changes to the camera angles during council meetings. When watching these meetings remotely, which I frequently do, it's helpful for viewers to see the speaker. This not only aids in communication, but it also helps those who cannot attend in person. It is my understanding that the council president and other members were unaware of these changes. In fact, when the question was raised, the response came from business administrator and not the council president that we're simply trying different angles. I am reminded of a time when residents requested live streaming of planning and zoning board meetings. The council indicated that those boards were autonomous. If that's the case, and considering the comments and actions surrounding this issue, it seems clear that the decision to alter the camera angles was not made by this body. I urge you, Council President, to turn to your right and ask the Edison TV reps to restore the original camera angles, as this was not a decision made by this body. If you're unwilling to do so, I am left to believe that the mayor is controlling this meeting.
Absolutely.
Is this meeting of the people held by the legislative branch of Edison's government truly being run by the members here? Or is it being dictated by the executive branch? Lastly, regarding ordinance 2233, reducing speaking time. Councilman Schmuel indicated the majority of the comments were made within 4 minutes, and some were longer to the 6 minutes. So why pass an ordinance that was already organically taking place?
Correct.
Thank you for your time.
Good evening, Donnie Abelman, Jackson, New Jersey.
You have news.
I want to apologize, my pre-prepared speech accidentally erased, so I'm going to speak from the heart. Guys, that was the most unsincere apology. We got caught with our pants down apology I've ever heard in my entire life. I believe that the township is playing with fire, and you guys have already opened up Pandora's box. Before Pandora opened that box in legend, she was warned. Your attorneys have failed at every turn to warn you people, to stop you people from enacting such inane, insane, and egregious policies against freedom. You don't like transparency, you don't like freedom, and yeah, you got called out for, because you didn't specify enough with the flags, but here we are again with your new ordinance that you enacted on a whim, without being properly notified, without giving any of the due process, that there will be subjective things that will get a person removed. I demand right here, right now, before the next meeting on Wednesday, that your ordinance be modified to lay out clearly and specifically what is not allowed. This way will remove any animosity and any guesswork as far as what is and what is not allowed and what will affect the quorum. I've spoken with a few of you council people, and other than Mr. Brescher, I see a bunch of fascists. I don't know all of you, but certainly I'm going to find out more information about you as time goes on. I'm not even from this town, but I realize that things are going on really bad. As they say, the fish sticks from the head down, and if what they say about Mr. Joshi is true, it's your responsibility to remove him if he won't give up his power. But from what I see and from what I've come across and understood, you guys, well, most of you are equally as culpable, if not corrupt. There's no reason for it. You're here to do the people's work. You're here to protect the people, not enjoy the power and the privilege that comes with being a council member. There's no reason for it. You know, I'm an American, I'm a Jew, and I'm reminded when I sit there and I turn on the news and I think about my family in Israel who are literally fighting. Do they want freedom or do they want oppression? This is what you have going on here. We're living in 2024 where half the country thinks that when Trump takes office in next month, that there's going to be a revolution. I want to remind you, I don't necessarily believe that, but after they stormed the Bastille, they didn't start with King Louis and Marie Antoinette. They went around first to all the local officials and put them through the guillotine. Why set yourselves up for that? You can sit there, you can be for the people, of the people, and by the people, or you can be for yourselves and you can have your own private little fiefdom where you guys do what you want. You have the police sitting there to back you up should anything go awry. You know, I met Christo through doing my auditing work, short points audits on YouTube, and what I see going on here is just a cancer in this town. There's no reason for it. You guys have the wherewithal. You're not stupid people. You guys made it in business, in life, to get to this point where you're on the city council. Well, use that intelligence. Don't turn it into what you want. It's what all these people want. They're the people of Edison. If they want to sit here and sing a cappella WAP, and, you know, from Megan Thee Stallion and the other one, well, it's their 6 minutes. Take it, enjoy the show, hopefully they're on key. But whatever it is, if we have a guy coming here as a 6-foot bomb, if he's got something to say, that's his 6 minutes where he can sit there and talk about weed, he can talk about freedom, he can talk about anything he wants. That's not for you to judge, and certainly not for you to say, no, you can't do that, no, you can't say that. The simple mask that personifies the revolution and personifies fighting a moral authority, a Guy Fawkes mask, which Christo likes to wear. I mean, come on. Is that really disrupting your meeting that much where he's sitting there? It's not like he's just running around saying, I planted a bunch of dynamite under this building and come with me and let's go light it off. He's sitting there protesting the insanity that you guys have put forth. You guys put all this out into the world, and this is just a reaction to what you guys have done. There's no reason for it. As it is, I told you last time, I represent some business people looking for a home. We, as a company that makes equipment for the United States military, to protect them, to protect our troops who are there to enforce and protect our freedom, the people that gave us the red, white, and blue, that make sure that this actually means something, we're not going to give that $5 to $6 million in tax money to a town that was dumb enough to sit there and say, well, flags and a copy of the Constitution is banned. Now, you can sit there and say it was a mistake. You guys knew better, and it cost you $5 million. Congratulations, you played yourself.
We're off the list. Anybody that would like to speak?
Elizabeth Conway, 20 Netherwood Circle.
You're recognized.
I'm a regular. You're used to me coming at least once a month, if not twice a month, if not 4 times a month. And I usually come for things that concern the township, whether it be an abandoned car, whether it be a stoplight, or leaf removal. I care about the town, and this is my chance to bring it to your attention. But in the last so many months, I feel that these council meetings have gone awry. I feel like you're pulling away from the normal person that comes with a concern. And it's gotten out of hand. I feel like the people that come to these meetings have gotten no respect from the council. You're pulling back. Thank you, Carmen. You're pulling back from us and not allowing us to truly talk about what we would like to talk about. I noticed I'm not being videotaped. You know what? Joe's taking care of that right now. But neither are you. I would sit over there, and the gentleman that's in charge of the computer, I used to be able to see what he was looking at. And all it was 9 or 10 bobbleheads. You couldn't see who was speaking. You didn't see what was going on. And it's showing me that you not only don't respect us, I don't think you respect one another. And I was very upset last month when one of your council people reached out and asked for something to be done on her behalf, and you blatantly ignored her. You didn't give her a chance. And you know, it wouldn't have even made a difference on your vote, because your vote was still horrendous. But you didn't give her a chance. And now you put yourselves in her place, that you didn't get a chance. Well, guess what? We're not getting a chance. And regarding this flag business, I understood what you were trying to do, Council President. You just went about it completely wrong, and the lawyer that was here was even worse with his advice. So I suggest that you go back and think about how to run these meetings. And if you don't like what somebody has to say, they only have 6 minutes. Let them talk. But when you turn around and do this, look what happens. We might have 6 or 8 people normally here, and we speak for our 6 minutes. We might get a chance to do a rebuttal, but that's all we'd ever get. But because of this, it's now after 7 o'clock. And many people still need to speak. So it's kind of backfired on what you were trying to do. So you need to really think about, what do we really want our council meetings to be like? What do we want to show Edison as being a reasonable township with a reasonable council? I like to see that many of you are actually looking tonight, except for Mr. Brescia does look up and down. But that's showing respect, that you're looking and you're listening. But when you don't and when you chat, you're not showing respect. And I realize what happened, and I'm sorry it happened. I'm sorry for the town that it happened. But when mistakes happen, look what happens. But another thing I would like to thank you for, even though he's in my way, the time clock. It lets me know how much more time I have. So that was moving in a positive direction. And another thing that I'm going to bring up, I brought it up at the last meeting, I'm still very disturbed at what the mayor has done with the Edison Arts Society, moving them out of the building. I looked forward to that. Whenever I came to the building and I had the chance, I would enjoy looking at that. And just willy-nilly telling them that they are being moved with no recourse is insulting. They are such a vital group to this town, and they were just slapped away. That's another form of disrespect. And I ask that the council think about this. Yes, you are not the administration, but you are the town council. And if the 7 of you got together for once and did something positive,
Yes.
we would truly appreciate that. And it's sad when things go to a vote, we know how you're voting even before you say it. And it shouldn't be that way. You should be able to vote, not the way someone's telling you to vote, or the way you think you should vote. Please think, please discuss, and do something about it, because this has turned into a circus, and I'm actually done.
God bless you.
Excuse me, I'm not used to public speaking.
Just your name and address.
I'm Rich and I'm from Earth.
Okay.
I'm interconnected with all the other species on this planet. And you, brother, and you, sisters. And God loves us all. And I recognize that each of you are gold. You were born golden, you were born beautiful. And I recognize that it's not easy to do what you do. And you know, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. So you're not my servant, and I'm not your master. We're equals. You've been entrusted with the position and office of a legislator. And part of that is, as our representative, is to listen to the people here speaking. And our courts have defined what is and what isn't protected speech. And I know it's boring, and I know that I'm being an energy vampire right now, boring you. You know, I understand that. But the other day, you replaced a word in the courts about what is a threat or not protected speech. And you replaced the word violence with anger. Well, a lot of things make us angry. But what would incite a reasonable person to become violent? That's the difference. That's what the court said. I think, but I'm not a lawyer. And most people don't have a lawyer or can afford a lawyer. And a lot of people think that in this country we have rights, but we don't have rights unless you have money. If you have money, then you can afford a lawyer, an attorney, and assert your rights. But if most people don't have rights, then officers that have been entrusted with a sacred position can easily say, this guy will never sue us. We can do with him what we please. And that's wrong. That's wrong. And I've seen that happening in my country, all over. And as far as symbolic speech goes, you know, before 1776, John Adams was a lawyer and he had access to one of the only libraries, law libraries in the United States. And he defended his cousin Sam Adams, who was arrested because they didn't respect the Fourth Amendment, those pesky British people. And he was arrested, and John Adams was in front of a board of English judges with the wigs on. And all he had to do, symbolic speech, was take the only copy of Admiralty law in the colonies and place it on the desk. Like that man had the Constitution in his hand. Symbolic speech. And what did the admirals do? What did the judges do? They got up, went to the other room, talked a little bit, they came back and dismissed the case. Because he was going to be able to assert the law, he knew the law. And now I lost my train of thought, because I'm not a good speaker. But here we are. I've seen you guys do this. I've seen this all over the country. And the symbolic speech. This ordinance that you read tonight, you've approved certain speech. You've approved the flag. You've approved constant, like, American symbols. What if I wanted to be here with the flag of anarchy? What if I'm a communist? I want to have the communist flag. I can't? You've defined speech. You've put speech in a box. You've put my words and my thoughts in a box. I used to serve in a church with a man named Ralph Voorhees, and he donated a whole lot of art to the Zimmerli Museum in New Brunswick. I don't know if you've ever been to the Zimmerli Museum, but they have an entire wing devoted to outsider Soviet art. Art that was not approved by the Soviet government. The whole wing of people who actually use speech to be critical of their government. A lot of them ended up in mental institutions because the state said, if you disagree with us, you must be insane. It's wrong. And coming up, thinking about this, I've read a lot about Gandhi. You know, I started watching on YouTube clips from a movie that I saw my father made me watch when I was a kid, of Mahatma Gandhi, and how the British censored his speech. Because he was trying to reach the hearts and the empathy of the British people, and he used peaceful means to do it. The man was a genius. And he was censored the entire time. And if it wasn't for him to inspire Martin Luther King to come here to this country and secure my freedom, because as soon as the Treaty of Paris was signed, the counter-revolutionaries, women didn't have rights, black people didn't have rights, Native Americans didn't have rights. If the British had succeeded, you wouldn't be here. A lot of my neighbors would not be.
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you.
Anything else? Name and address, please.
Meredith Matthews, I live at 64 Howard Ave. My family is the only one that's lived there.
You're recognized.
I'm going to read you what I wrote, even though what you said. Good evening. I'm here to talk about the ordinance in November that you put in place, saying the American flag is a prop. The American flag is a right the citizens have from those who sacrifice their lives. I looked online today, and as of today, it is 758,683 soldiers in the U.S. military that have lost their lives over this flag, that have had their bodies draped in this flag. They fought for this right, for this freedom of speech with their lives. And they would be turning in their graves if they saw the comments that they saw last week. That includes all races and religions of all soldiers, all different types and races. Doing this is disrespectful to our town's members from those who have died. We do have the memorials, okay? My family's been here forever, okay? I've got at least 8 members on there. Saying that the American flag is a prop and putting the ordinance in place violates the First Amendment of right of freedom of speech. The flag brought into the meeting was not a giant flag, which was reasonable for the situation at hand. It was not like the one at Wick Plaza, which is ginormous. It was just a small one like this being held. If someone holding the flag is too much for those sitting on the board, then you need to look for another line of work. Because burning the flag is freedom of speech, but holding it is not. That is not okay. When representing this town, when you took office and oath, you became someone who was supposed to represent the people of this town that you were elected from. Sorry, I'm trying to catch my train of thought here. You were not given the position to take away constitutional rights. Not even the federal level does this. Holding this office means knowing your U.S. history and the Constitution and the amendments that trump everything else, because that's what the national level is based off of. Many of you need to research it. If you have not learned about these, you need to start researching them better to equip yourself for the future. My family has been in this town since the late 1800s, closer to the early 1900s. We were here when the roads were dirt, before they were paved. When the turnpike was paved, my grandfather was the one who paved it the first time when they started the turnpike. They also said they were going to take down the tolls after it was paid for and never did as well. We have been here through many changes in this town as it's grown over the years. This ordinance is way out of line that you had. This ordinance had to be canceled immediately because it infringes on our First Amendment right. I will be here every meeting until it was changed, which you told us tonight. If you refuse to do that, which you didn't, I was going to look into reasons on to get you guys out of your positions. That was way out of line. And just to let you know, I know a bunch of faces here, and unfortunately, I just realized it now, the lawyer, his father was the minister at my church for a while. And Lieutenant Dudash, if that's you, so I'm sorry if that's not your title anymore, your father was my DARE instructor in elementary school. Okay? So many people have died for this flag. That was way out of line, what was said. And I think you guys need to at least go someplace or do it on your own. A better way of talking to other people and handling situations. I am a school teacher. I work with all types of personalities. I am a special ed teacher. I know what they're like because I get them before you guys get them as adults. Okay? So you need to find a way that will be able to help you in the future because this made national news. 100% national news. It should not have made national news. It made our town painted in a negative light. And coming from someone that's been here for a very long time, that is not okay. And I have 53 seconds left, or 53. I would like somebody to pass this to you guys, and this way you have no excuse in the future to have a misunderstanding like this, or go backwards and not know what the First Amendment right is. Can somebody pass this to them?
She's coming.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else have that?
Christo, come on. Christo, come on.
Sir.
No, ladies first.
Christo.
Forfeit your time to Christo.
Ladies first. You look wonderful. I'd love you to go first. Anytime.
I picked up this flag of Johnny Walker, 14 Beach Lane, Edison, New Jersey. About 19 years of a resident here, so I don't have a lifetime thing here, but I'm gonna die here, so get used to me. I like it here. Sort of, just lately not so much. So here's my flag, and I just was given outside. In my purse, I have a pile of contraband. I have a bunch of little flags that I brought in case anybody didn't have flags. And when I go through my purse, I went, well, now I'm in trouble, because they opened it up to look at it, and there were flags in there. Before I came, I took off my religious jewelry because I thought they've got your free speech. They don't want you to have a flag. Freedom of religion is probably the next thing on the list. So I took off the little Christian medallion I had. I see a lady here wearing Christmas earrings, Christmas being Christ Mass, St. Nicholas being a saint. I thought, what's next? How low is this going to go? Hopefully it kills its own self off or something. So these are all thoughts that went through my head. I heard about this about a week ago. I watched it online. I actually got queasy and nauseous, which surprised me because you think your brain is here, but your gut will always tell you before your brain will tell you. When I saw Joel being escorted out by 2 police officers for having a flag and trying to speak at his town meeting. What am I looking at? Where am I? And then I became concerned because these 2 police officers, if they look on the back of their insurance card, there's probably a number they can call to get some free therapy sessions for a while. You asked them, I believe, to go against their country, to be a traitor to their own flag, which I made them pledge to every day when they were kids in my classroom, as another teacher was pointing out. We teach this stuff to everyone. I'm the daughter of a World War II lieutenant commander on a ship in the Navy, and I grew up primarily in Washington, D.C., where he was with the State Department, and all of this is like a kangaroo court when it comes down to telling people they cannot have a flag. Are you kidding me? You out of your mind? The Nazis would have said, oh, I was just following order. But what damage did you do to the 2 officers that I watched escort them out? I went, oh my God, what effect does that have on them? But they say no, they have a family, children. What are you doing to these people? If they do it, how do they internalize that when they get home and sit down and tell the wife, you're not going to believe what I had to do today? I had to take a guy out and practically arrest him for holding an American flag. What country am I in? Who are these people? What is their mindset and why are they sitting up there? And when you all stick together, you're all in the same boat whether you like it or not because you haven't stepped out. So nobody can say it wasn't me, it wasn't me, it wasn't me. You guys voted on this. I wasn't here for the vote, and maybe somebody who voted against it. I'm not up to speed on that. It's just so disheartening. What kind of trash are people who come up with this crap that you can't have a flag at a town meeting? And then the no props. If I had an issue about land, I cannot bring the map. If I have a question about a traffic incident, I can't bring a picture of the intersection to help. I can't do that. Well, that's the freedom of speech. Read those little constitutional booklets. It's a new reading for you. It might enlighten you. You might learn some things you're not aware of yet. And you should. You should. So now I have 2 minutes and 25 seconds that I think that I didn't come in and plan to speak. I just got inspired by the horrors I was hearing. I will pray for the officers to my God. It's all one God for me, so it doesn't matter. I wish a happy holiday to everybody here, including you guys. I hope you get your act together, because we do vote. I don't want to keep you here if you're not up to the standard. That's about all I can tell you now. Yes, my father too is rolling in his grave, but he's feeling good that I'm standing here for the moment. So Dad, this one's for you.
Anybody else that would like to speak?
Christo.
No, it's okay, he likes to discriminate on me. Let him
Get
keep
up
doing
there.
it. I want
Okay, I see you.
Christo's next.
Go ahead, Krista, come
All
on.
right, I'm going to say that.
Come on.
After you, Christo's next. I know, I just like showing when he discriminates.
Sir, if you're at the mic, if you want to speak, you can speak. Name and address, please.
Donald Olina, lot 10 Court, 37 Chapel Street, Edison, New Jersey, two addresses.
You're recognized.
52 years in Edison. Worked Edison Heating and Cooling 25 years, First Choice 5 years, AJ Perry 2.5 years, doing sales and service back in 97, 98. I cannot find a job in this town because of the police department. And because of you, Mayor Jones. Because of you. I came out to the event at J.B. Stevens High School, the high school I graduated in 1990. You would not even talk to me. You were out there in the rain. You only come out in the rain. You're afraid to show your face around us. That's all I got to say. Take the 6 minutes and pass it to somebody else.
I'm fucking real now. You are a joke.
Sue Malone, Barber, 85 Pleasant Avenue.
You're recognized.
At the last meeting, I said something like the hell-bent attempts to control the public are misguided, deemed to be rude, and juvenile, and will only make things worse. Sadly, I'm really very sorry that that turned out to be true. Thank you for the apology. That could not have been easy. It was definitely needed and appropriate, but it came after national attention embarrassed the administration and the council. And so it just kind of rings hollow. And I can't help but wonder, and I bet I'm not alone, that people wonder if it didn't get national attention, would there have been an apology? So, you know, in the spirit of actions speak louder than words, I urge you to take real action and hit the reset button. Number one, repeal the props ordinance. It's a slippery slope. And what you deem to be props today, there'll be different props tomorrow. And it really is kind of completely arbitrary. What if I stood up here with my father-in-law's Purple Heart? That's not on the list in the resolution. So I just have a feeling that while the resolution is an attempt to carve out things that would not be deemed as props, that list is going to grow. Like the example of an intersection or anything. It's just a bad idea. It's a slippery slope. Give people their time, let them wear and show whatever they want, and move on. We've wasted so much time on this, and I know I keep harping on it, but it's true. Okay. Again, repeal that ordinance. It's unnecessary. It would show a really strong commitment to the rights of people, and it will hold up better than an apology. You made a mistake, you admitted it, the administration admitted it. I think the administration threw you under the bus. I'm sorry for that, but I think repealing it would go a long way to get the message across. Number two, give people back their time. And even more importantly, give them back their right to rebuttal, which is a show of a continuation of trying to control the public. because without the rebuttal, the council has the last word. It's not right, it's not fair. And then, number 3, I have a couple of questions. Is this an autonomous board, like the planning board and the zoning board?
We'll be answering the questions at the end.
Okay. If it's an autonomous board, like the planning and the zoning board, why don't you control the camera position? I don't understand that. I don't think the administration's controlling the zoning board camera angles. I don't understand that. I think, again, it's an attempt to control what gets out in the news, and the public is being stifled by that. So, 2 questions. Is this an autonomous board, and what does that mean if you don't control the camera angles? And number 2, will you take control of the camera angles? Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Anyone else that would like to speak?
I exist.
Hi, Kristen. Come on up.
Thank you. That's the name they gave me, brother. Oh, come on. Sorry. Am I recognized?
Name and address, please.
You don't have to give it, but I'm going to give it in case Fox News broadcasts this and they need to contact me, or any news agency needs to contact me. Next time, you're not getting it. Crystal Metropolis, Edison, New Jersey, South Edison, New Jersey. Am I recognized yet?
You're recognized.
Okay. Okay? How hard was that? How hard was that? Today I stand before you to address a grave injustice that has persisted for years in our community. This is just about one individual, me, and the fundamental rights that are being trampled upon by those in power. We are here to discuss the ongoing violations of First Amendment and the Open Public Meetings Act, and the deeply troubling allegations against Mayor Sam Joshi. First, let's talk about the First Amendment violations. The First Amendment of the United States Constitution guarantees the right to free speech, the right to assemble, and the right to petition government for redress of grievances. These are not just words on paper, they are the bedrock of our democracy. Yet in Edison, New Jersey, these rights have been systematically violated. I fear after the spotlight is off of me, the council will try to go after my speech again. I hope those of you who are here continue to keep an eye on Edison. I hope fire or the ACLU steps up and takes on my cases of being expelled from meetings for exercising my rights. I have been thrown out of meetings for wearing a mask or using words they did not approve of. I am a dedicated civil rights activist and investigative journalist, and have been at the forefront of this battle for years. I have faced relentless opposition from the Township of Edison. The Township's ordinance banning props, including the American flag and Constitution during public meetings, is a blatant violation of the First Amendment. This ordinance was designed to silence dissent and stifle my free speech, nobody else's. But you ended up going after everybody just to prove you're not discriminating on me. It is an affront to the very principle upon which our nation was founded. The Open Public Meetings Act, also known as the Sunshine Law, mandates that public meetings be open to the public, ensuring transparency and accountability in government. However, the Township of Edison has repeatedly violated this law. Despite warnings from citizens like Steve Ronco, Patrick Duff, Mike Benzilios, and Edward Grimes, the Township has continued to enforce this unconstitutional ordinance. Angel Bassoff. These individuals have been removed from meetings and had their speaking time forfeited, simply for exercising their First Amendment rights. This is not just a violation of their rights, it is a violation of the rights of every citizen of America, and is a criminal charge, Section 2C-30-6, crime of official deprivation of civil rights. And I'm going to charge you for that this week. Now let's turn to the deeply troubling allegations against Mayor Sam Joshi. Multiple women have come forward with allegations of date rape against Mayor Joshi on YouTube. Leroy Truth and Councilman Brescher interviewed a victim of the mayor's. These allegations are serious and demand a thorough and impartial investigation. It is imperative that we hold our elected officials to the highest standards of conduct. The safety and well-being of our community depend on it. The allegations against Mayor Joshi are not just about individual misconduct, but the abuse of power when those in positions of authority use their power to harm others. It is a betrayal of the public trust. We must stand together and demand accountability. We must ensure that justice is served and that the rights of all individuals are protected. This ordinance goes above and beyond banning the flag. It bans all speech and freedom of expression. They had to do all or nothing and got caught up in a nationwide scandal. How did that work out for you? I demand the resignation of all those who voted yes to this ordinance. I demand Burns, Raynone, and Coughlin be investigated. I demand all my criminal charges that were filed for political reasons be dismissed. Here's one of the people investigated me for using a social media account when I was supposed to be restricted by the judge, and ended up catching somebody impersonating me. We use the township resources in this town to see if I'm sending messages to the mayor asking him if he's banging this woman or banging that woman. Absolutely sick. The truth is going to come out. God bless America. Who forced you to apologize? I guarantee the police and the council forced you to apologize.
Management had to come in.
This guy, he doesn't mean none of his apology. As soon as all you guys leave here, okay, in 1 month and 2 months, they're going to do it all over again. And the chief is going to allow it, Dudash is going to allow it, the cops are going to play like they're stupid, like they don't know they're doing something wrong, and then they're going to say, oh, we're just following orders. The Nuremberg defense. How well did that work out for the Nazis? Just following orders. The fact that we don't give these officers the flexibility to decide, I'm not going to remove someone with a flag, there's a danger. Do they feel like they're in danger of breaking their chain of command? That needs to be investigated. Are they in fear that they're going to be retaliated for doing their job? Is that what's going on here? God bless America. I want everybody to know this, that the only reason they're apologizing is because the whole world got caught. They're not sorry. They want to continue violating my rights again as soon as everybody leaves from here. In fact, because they went national, if anything happens to me, if I get killed or something, just know I'll never Jeffrey Epstein myself. It was these people that did it. It was these people that did it. Yeah, except for Rich. Rich and Margot will never kill me. Or Cheryl or Marlene. I love you too. I do.
How you doing? Patrick Duff. I'm a New Jersey resident.
You're recognized.
So I want to kind of tell the story as to why, the prop ban came. I'm a New Jersey activist. I go town to town. If somebody's got a problem, I'll try to go help them with it. Tabernacle, New Jersey, they're trying to tear down the town hall. The hall wasn't going to fall down. They said it was going to fall down. But the political careers of all those that tried to get it to fall down, I took them all down. Five politicians toast. So when I show up to town councils, it's usually for, smaller reasons. And this is a national story. But the reason why we're here wasn't because it's a national story. It's because what happened prior to that on October 9th. When we showed up here on October 9th, we showed up because Christo was getting removed for wearing that mask that you didn't remove him for wearing just now, which is pretty incredible. And we wanted to show up and be as ridiculous as possible. So Mikey over here showed up in a 9-foot Bond costume. Edward showed up with a luchador mask on. And I showed up with a puppet. That I did a puppet show of Phil Murphy at the podium. I have a great impression of Phil Murphy, by the way. Let me be clear. As your great governor, I'm here to tell you that the First Amendment is very important. And it wasn't the puppet. It wasn't the 9-foot bomb. And after that happened, I was surrounded by police. They were surrounding me. They said, "Sir, you're going to have to leave." I took the puppet. I said, "No, I will not leave." And I refused to leave. We went out in the hallway. They told me I got to leave the building. They already removed Mikey and Christo from the building. I said, "Call your supervisor." Guess what? Supervisor came out, said he doesn't have to leave. So I need you to call your supervisor. Because you enacting this ordinance is the same thing as throwing these guys out of the building. You can't do it. You're passing an unconstitutional ordinance. What is a prop? Is my book a prop? Since we're going to be on TV, Rabble Rouser Rising, my very own book, is this a prop? I mean, the technical term for prop is property. So any personal property a person has would be considered a prop. Like this shirt. I had cancer 3 years ago. And this shirt says, fuck cancer. And I think the expletive before the word cancer is okay. I had a 10-inch tumor removed from my body. And if it wasn't for that removal of that tumor from my body, I'd be dead today. 100% I'd be dead today. So, I'm going to make you a deal. You removed me from your council meeting, and I told you I love to sue people. I already filed my tort claim notice. How's this? I'll agree not to sue your township if you do not put that ordinance up for a vote. Just let it go. You don't have to vote on it. You didn't vote on it yet.
No, it's already in.
Oh, you already passed it.
Yes.
Isn't that sad? And you know what, Mr. Patel? After that meeting, you came out to us at the car to talk to us.
But you were busy with your phone.
Yeah, you weren't offended. You actually were smiling and laughing about the events that happened. Who the hell are you? So you were smiling and we were laughing. You were asking, do you do this all the time? Do you make big money out of this? No, we don't. We do this because it's the right thing. And that's what we're asking you to do, is the right thing. The right thing is to not ban props. To not, I mean, imagine it. I even said that night that you were going to walk right into a right hook, and you did. Because I knew that it's just the way you wouldn't pick Christo. He had his hand up, and you had a little smile on your face. Power is the ultimate corrupter. And you're a good example of somebody that shouldn't have power. I mean, you came out to us to confront us, and then you probably thought about it for the next week of how the hell will I get them to stop embarrassing me by coming to this meeting with puppets and bombs and other things like that. And I asked you a very important question when I was making my comments. I said, City Attorney, what are the words that allow you to remove me from this meeting? Could you state the words? Because the words are very important. That's what law is. It's a grouping of words. And then you went ahead and made those words. You walked right into it. Think about that. You actually created the words that I asked for. I requested those words that you created, that you've now passed, that are going to 100% land your city and township in a lawsuit that's going to cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars in just legal fees, especially the ACLU comes in. So, quick offer to you is, like I said, I will 100% agree to not file a suit if you rescind that ordinance. If not, I'm going to file a lawsuit for being removed unconstitutionally from your meeting. You didn't even have the rules in place yet. So think about that. You passed ex post facto conditions that would have allowed you prior to remove me, but you'd already removed me. You already had me surrounded by police. And like she said, I feel bad for those police officers. And let me apologize. My mom didn't like my comments because I cursed and used a puppet. I usually don't do that. But we wanted to come here and show you the absurdity. How far can the First Amendment go? How far can we take it before it's not too far? And the fact that you threw him out for a mask and me for the mask, and you tried to throw him out for the mask, shows that you are not competent to be in that position. Thank you.
God bless you, God. I love you. I love you.
Good evening, council. I don't get my name, I don't get my address. You guys know that.
You're right.
And the reason why I choose to remain anonymous is because it's my Fourth Amendment right to remain secure. I don't have to divulge any personal sensitive information to participate in a public council meeting. So I don't have to exchange my Fourth Amendment right to exercise my first. At the basis of my belief on that is, well, we have freedom of speech in this country. So you can't force me to give up my personal sensitive information to participate. That being said, my name is Mike Vingilatis, we already talked about that. I also go by Bonholio. That's me giving you my information as a courtesy. It's not mandatory, it's not required. But that is my name and that's why I'm here. I first came to Edison back on April 25th, earlier in the year. I saw what was happening to Christo. I saw you guys violating his rights, saying that no profanity could be used at a meeting. And I came here very professionally, very polite. I warned you guys about the road that you were possibly going down. And this is just when we had a profanity ban. Because I saw the writing on the wall. I was smart enough to know what this was going to lead to. So there was just a profanity ban. And again, if you disallow members of the public to say certain things, you don't have freedom of speech. You understand that? In this country, in America, there's only a democracy if we have the freedom to participate the way we choose. To say that decorum issues were violated or compromised is a complete joke, because it's our time, it's our 5 minutes. You might run the meeting, Mr. Patel, but you don't run my life. Yes. You don't get to choose what I say it, or how I look, okay? As a believer in the arts and the music programs that have been cut from education over the years, I express myself how I choose, whether I want to bring a bomb or whether I want to sing a song. So when I came here, me, Edward, and Christo came here, and we humiliated you guys, we embarrassed you guys, let's call it what it is. That was the last meeting we had camera angles on members of the public. Then we took away transparency, keeping more closed-door government activities. Edison TV runs it, they do an amazing job with the way that they cut, with the camera angles and who's speaking. I mean, that's a great resource to have. Some towns just have one camera angle and it's kind of boring. But your meetings online are now like almost unwatchable because you can't see who's speaking, you can't tell who's who, you have zero sense of what is actually happening at the meeting. So that's a huge problem. You need to bring those camera angles back immediately. Like immediately, okay? In October, in Sayreville, members from the Historical Preservation Society came out with efforts to save the town hall, the first town hall building, fire department, and part of what they did was they went to a council meeting and they held out the first American flag that ever was flown on the flagpole outside. They held the American flag up at the council meeting. If they did that here, they would have been removed. They would have been arrested if they didn't comply. Just think about that irony. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. And your apology, Patel, your apology was garbage. It was absolute garbage. There was no misunderstanding. We all watched you do it. The whole country saw it. We watched you at multiple meetings, multiple times, state that the American flag is a prop. And within your apology, on your official Facebook page that belongs to the government, you banned free speech. You took away the ability for members of the public to comment. So in your apology, you violated everybody's First Amendment right. Unreal. You know who else did that? Mayor Sam Joshi. He did the same thing. He put a statement out, and within that statement, disabled the comments on our page. This hall does not belong to you. Those pages do not belong to you. And Coyle, you too. Through the chair to Coyle. Your apology, you sat there, you did nothing. There was no misunderstanding. You watched him then violate his rights meeting after meeting, meeting after meeting. The American flag was called a prop. You sat there and did nothing. And then you go up and you go tell Long Island that you love the work that he does. Well, I let him know that you voted for the ban. Okay? With the exception of Councilwoman Harris, Councilman Brescher, and Councilman Patel. Patel, sorry. The rest of this council all voted for the ban. They all voted to violate free speech. That's what they did. And how'd that work out for you, Patel? How'd that work out? I was looking forward to coming to see you tonight. You would not look at my eyes the whole time, but at least you're doing it now. I appreciate that. So, oh yeah, you know what? Yes. Let's sing a song.
Yes.
Not done yet.
I'll pause the time so you can get the lyrics. The song.
And,
Beat the clock, beat the clock.
Last time you got thrown out for singing too long.
Yes.
I'm in Edison tonight because something has come to light. It's been brought to my attention. You guys are doing nothing that I like, except for pressure and Paris.
Your time is up.
I tried my best.
Anybody else have a-
I'll see you Wednesday.
Nobody's getting removed. I'll sing Wednesday too.
You know, it's always difficult to speak after big show tunes, so I try to hold up my end of my speech.
Name and address, please.
My name is Susan Del Conte. I live on Ujoga Road in Edison.
You're right.
Thank you. So I've been attending the meetings for about a year now. I'm kind of still a newbie at this. And I'm really learning a lot about the democratic process, and something has just been kind of nagging at me, and I guess I'm looking for some clarification on the process. So I came to the November 13th meeting, and the decorum rules, which I believe are now posted on one of the doors next to this gentleman right here, were posted on the outside of the door where you would have stood to go through the magnetometer before it was moved. And the decorum rules were laminated and taped up to the door, but it was November 13th. And as far as I know, they were just being proposed at that point. But again, as a teacher, you know that you laminate the really important things. So I guess, you know, my first question is, why were they laminated and posted before they had even been proposed? And when, you know, the last subsequent meetings, the townspeople were asked to either sit down or they were escorted out because they had flags and copies of the Constitution. The ordinance had not yet been voted in, so they were being punished for something that had not yet become an ordinance, so that I guess an established ordinance. So I guess my next question is, can you explain how you can enforce something that has yet to actually be voted on? So, you know, and now I understand from lots of social media, which is of course where the best education comes from, that the ordinance has to basically sit and stew for about 20 days, even after it's been voted on, before it can actually be enforced, which is why we still have 6 minutes on the clock, even though that 4-minute time has now been voted on. So I guess I just don't understand, how can people be escorted out and punished and redressed when technically the ordinance didn't yet exist? And my biggest concern is the fact that things were taped to the door to kind of warn the people as they were going through the magnetometer that these are the rules, but the rules hadn't even yet been proposed. So I know that a lot of the questions that have been, and a lot of the speakers today, have asked questions that kind of don't have an answer, they're kind of just out there. But I really would like to understand the process so that I understand what it is that we're supposed to be following, what decorum we're supposed to be following when, and what part of the process do I have to really start worrying about myself. Thank you. And I have 2.5 minutes left, so I can do this in 4 minutes.
Thank you. Anybody else that would like to speak?
Hi.
Okay. Name and address.
Fulco Press, Hudson County.
You're recognized.
We'll say a quick prayer for the tyrants to see the ways of their sins. Heavenly Father, Almighty Judge, We gather tonight to call upon your divine wisdom and justice, for this city is burdened with leaders who have strayed far from the path of righteousness. Lord, we bring before you the tyrants seated here, those who have taken upon themselves to crush the voices of the people they swore to serve, to strip away freedoms that you have granted, and to trample the sacred values of liberty, justice, and truth. Father, you see the hearts of all, and you know the corruption that dwells within these halls. These leaders have chosen to suppress dissent, to wield power as not to wield power as shepherds, but as oppressors, and to use fear and intimidation as tools of their government. They twist the law to suit their desires, weaponizing the police to silence those who dare to speak, to gather, or challenge their unjust rule. They cloak their tyranny in words like order and decorum, but you, Lord, see through their lies. Lord, we cry out to you to show them the error of their ways, break through their hardened hearts, and confront them with the truth of their actions. Let them feel the weight of every voice they have silenced, every citizen they have oppressed, and every right they have stolen. May their consciences burn with the knowledge that they are betraying not only the people they serve, but also the very principles that this nation was founded upon. But Father, if they refuse to change, if they continue to cling to their pride, their egos, their power, and oppressive ways, then we ask for your justice to prevail. Hold them accountable for their sins against the people. Let their corruption be exposed for all to see. May their names become synonymous with shame, their legacies tainted by the suffering that they have caused, and their power stripped away, leaving them to face the consequences of their arrogance and cruelty. Lord, we pray also for the people of this city who suffer under this tyranny. Strengthen their resolve, embolden their spirits, and unite them with the fight for what is right. Remind them that no amount of oppression can extinguish the flame of freedom that you have placed within them. As you have done throughout history, raise up leaders from among the people, leaders who will stand boldly for truth, justice, and righteousness in the face of corruption and oppression. And Father, let these tyrants never forget their power is temporary, but your justice is eternal. Teach them that no amount of police, no amount of laws, and no amount of fear can suppress the voice of the people who refuse to be silenced. For as your words say, woe to those who make unjust laws and to those who issue oppressive decrees. We place the city in your hands, trusting that you will bring both redemption for the people and judgment for their oppressors. In your holy and powerful name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Council President, point of order for motion for a 3-minute recess.
Motion by Councilman Coyle for 5-minute recess. And may I have a second? I'll take the next person who wants to speak. We'll be back.
Russell Lazzarone, Skyler Drive, Edison, New Jersey. Listen, actions speak louder than words. Apologies are not strong. The actions of repealing this ordinance says a lot. I think you're caught in a rock and a hard place. This flag is a very proud and patriotic symbol of how we all feel. Everybody here, everybody watching, and many of you feel the same way. But this Edison runaway train has come to a stop. It's off the tracks. And I apologize for wearing my hat inside. My mother used to tell me at hippie, don't wear your hat inside. But if you can read it, it says, make Edison great again. This is a great town. We moved here a long time ago. Edison's been growing since I'm here. There's growing problems, there's growing pain. That's why we come here. We come to speak to you. Some of you are my friends. Some of you are my acquaintances. Some I've just become to know. You don't have to like me, and I don't care. But you don't have to like me or agree with me. But sitting there, you were elected to listen. You're elected to listen to what I have to say, to my complaints, my problems, my quality of life issues. I may praise you. I praise the police, the fire every day. I'm pro-God, pro-family, pro-military, pro-police, fire, and first responders. I'm not perfect, nobody is. Apologies do come, and they're appreciated, but they're meaningless without the right proper action. There's been accountability. I'm a landscaper. If I screw up your lawn, if I don't landscape right, you're gonna find somebody else. This township, these mayors, this mayor, this administration, is a frivolous spending. There's mismanagement left and right. Nothing would have been done with the animal shelter. The voiceless pets, the dogs and cats, would have been, things would still be bad if it wasn't for certain council members to open their ears. Open your eyes, open your ears, listen to the residents. It shouldn't take that. Do the right thing from the beginning. Make the Edison Animal Shelter great again. Take care of the senior citizens. I'm 62. I'm close to that. Maybe I am, I don't know. But I'll tell you what, I can still work. Thank God he keeps me healthy. I have to work. Because with the way the Democrats run, the taxes are going up. I'll be working until I'm 82. Unless we vote these out. Getting back to where I was. The senior citizens, where's the money allotted to the seniors? There are no activities. There's no bus trips. I get seniors calling me and telling me, left and right, what's going on. We should be ashamed of ourselves. The money that this town, 6th largest municipality in the state of New Jersey. What are we doing for seniors? What are we doing for the youth? The parks, half the parks that look like shit. Come on. Hire me. I'll do it for half price. These kids deserve a park to play in that's safe and enjoyable like we all grew up in.
Nevsky Street.
Okay? This veterans, how much do we spend on acknowledging the veterans that allowed us and afforded us the opportunity to come here tonight? Not much. Thank you for the veterans. Any veterans here and the veterans that are watching. Accountability. There's a lack of accountability and transparency. Limiting. I said, let's go from 6 minutes to 8 minutes. There's a lot going on, a lot that needs to be talked about. I may not use my 8 minutes or my 6 minutes, but give me that option. You're acknowledging I have a First Amendment, freedom of speech, but you want to limit it. What right is that for any of you? Would you like to be limited? You don't limit yourselves. That's not right. Do unto others as you want done unto yourself. A lot of these, my new friends wouldn't be here tonight. It's nice meeting new people. It's nice meeting new friends. Let's do the right thing. At this point in time, with everything going on, with the lack of transparency, with the frivolous spending, I suggest that the mayor of this town step down.
Yes.
Okay? Council President, no disrespect to you, not personal-wise, but professional-wise, I think you should step down too.
Yes.
The remaining 3 council members that voted for this ordinance, these 2 ordinances last meeting, think heavy. Think heavy about this decision you made. Okay? Think heavy. Repeal this. This needs to be repealed. The attorney that was sitting up there needs to be fired and terminated. The attorney's law firm needs to be terminated. The contract with that law firm with Edison Township needs to be null and void from tonight. Okay? They're supposed. Everybody is not against us. You're there for us.
Your time is up, sir. Thank you.
My time is up. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Your time is up.
Hi, good evening. My name is John. I drove here from Rumson.
You recognize John?
Thank you, Mr. Renone. Your colleague, Mr. Burns, contempt that he showed for the public, and his lack of First Amendment subject matter was appalling. And that's why I drove here. I was quite upset. I I think the town deserves better, Mr. Renone, and I think you know that too, and I think that's perhaps why you're here tonight. Mr. Patel, from where I'm from, this is called a good old dressing down. And I think the town is attempting to try to tightrope walk the third rail. And this is only going to open up the town to further lawsuits. I think you're going to get sued into submission. I hope, my apologies. I hope you all go home tonight, think about what everyone said, and endeavor to do better, because we deserve better, no matter where we're from. We're all Americans.
Thank you. God bless you.
Anthony Diamber, Wiley Edison.
You're recognizing.
Thank you. First of all, thank you, Council President, for your apology. Though I agree, actions, will determine that. But I think about how we got here today, and as my friend Russ said, if the mayor was taking care of the seniors and the veterans and was running efficient government and doing what he's supposed to be doing, knowing what I know about this mayor, trust me, none of these radical policies would be in place. That's just a fact, all right? So if he was doing the right thing, he would want unlimited time. That's what he would want. He would want the opposite of these policies. So the people now have started to open their eyes and realize that they look around and they see the rising crime is just out of control. The fact that we got to take officers off the road and put them in these council meetings, council chambers, it shows you where the incompetence lies. I also want to discuss what I believe is the abuse of power this mayor has now installed. Personally, the abuse of power by utilizing the police department, and there's been no bigger supporter of the police department than myself, but the first time, when I had, on a Friday afternoon, about 3 years ago, I had out of about 8 officers, 3 cars, come to my home to fire me. Okay, that's from the mayor's orders, all right? That's the first time. And then just last week, as I attended I went to a Dunkin' Donuts, and along with my buddy Russ, we saw Crystal there as well. But after I purchased a cup of coffee, I was asked to leave. I did nothing wrong. All I have done over the course of a few years is try to help move this town forward and do the right thing. I haven't, I can't think of a single incident I've done to warrant this type of abuse of power from the mayor. I don't blame the officers. They're simply doing their job and what is asked of them. But as I said last week, you're putting them in a bad spot. Cameras are on them, everything else like that. It's just incredible. I feel terrible for them. They're taking one on the chin, and it's about time we put an end to it. As far as the sexual allegations are concerned, I've came to these chambers once before and made my comments on it and made them well known. I know others have as well. Crystal's had it, and Councilman Brescher. I actually know the victim as well. I've gotten to know her, and it's quite remarkable, the story. It's disgusting. It's sad, and I hope this council takes it a little more seriously. I don't know if you guys have daughters or not, but I couldn't imagine that if you did, you would want your daughter's concerns to be unheard, and what happened to this woman. And I'll say this, the mayor has his right to speak as well. We deserve to hear his side of the story, and we never do. He's always in this constant protected bubble, Council President. He always is. He wants it his way all the time. And as far as this, this council does not belong to him, Council President. It just doesn't belong to him. You got to tell the mayor to keep his hands off the council and tell him to go to hell when he's in, because these policies are not coming from you, they're coming from the third floor, as I said last time. Everybody knows that. So, I agree the mayor should step down. Been saying that for a while, and the abuse of power needs to end. It needs to end. That police department doesn't belong to him, okay? These chambers don't belong to him. And you know what? These residents deserve a lot more respect from their quote-unquote elected leader. Thank you, Council President.
Anybody else would like to speak?
Mark Pukaczewski, Alco Road, Edison, New Jersey.
You recognize?
Thank you. I'd like to thank my fellow Americans for bringing the American flag as a symbol of so many things. I'd like to take a moment and tell you that on July 20th, 1969, I was a quite younger man. I understood what a symbol meant when Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin placed the United States of America flag on the moon. As far as I know, the only flag there, and the first flag there. That's how powerful a symbol is. It's not a prop. I'd also like to take this a little international. There's a war in the Middle East and there's a war in Eastern Europe. Those wars are indicative of people who want to earn their right for freedom and democracy and hope, and anything else that a flag of a great nation such as this. There's a reason why there are 13 stripes on that flag. There's a reason why we're up to 50 stars. It is a piece of fabric to some. It may be called a prop, but not to me. To me, it's a symbol of how far this nation has come, how far the leadership of the United States of America has shown the world what the word hope, freedom, and democracy is about. I'm a proud Ukrainian American. I can sit here and talk and maybe do a college course on what the absence of freedom, hope, and democracy is to people. And I'm sure there are many people who have come to America for that very reason. So I'm not casting blame or aspersion on anyone. I want to just remind everyone to celebrate that freedom, hope, and if it's a symbol of the American flag that we use to do that, then that's what it is. Because I can tell you, I've been all over this world, and everybody knows the American flag. Everyone on this planet, even the North Koreans. But most of us would be hard-pressed to recognize other flags. That's how powerful a symbol the American flag is. Thank you.
Good evening, Charlie Cradaville. I'm from New Brunswick. I'm the editor of New Brunswick Today, and I'll start by saying thank you to everyone for watching New Brunswick Today. It's great to see so many people here expressing themselves and to hear everyone's intelligent remarks. I also have to say that what happened at the last meeting was chilling abuse of power, and can't help but feel some sense of justice to be here today and to hear you have to apologize for it. But Council President, if you're really truly sorry for what happened and you really truly want to make it right, you will repeal the ordinance. And you do need to, no matter what, change your policies and practices for running these meetings. I think it's obvious at this point that things are not going well here this year. And I'll say that, the main reason I'm here at New Brunswick Today, we're committed to transparency, education, and public engagement. And I've become disturbed to see meeting recordings deleted from the Edison TV YouTube channel. Of course, many people have been complaining tonight, and I have complained in the past about the lack of showing the public on Edison TV, which is a new thing that came out of nowhere. I asked about it, and I know that your VA said that they're, quote, trying out some new angles. That's not correct. There's no new angles. There are less angles, and they suck. There's one angle, and it makes it harder for people to understand what's going on at the meeting. It doesn't serve a purpose other than to confuse and obscure what should otherwise be a transparent public process. I raised concerns about how you've handled some of the meetings in the past. I think overwhelmingly it's become clear that it's been normalized to use the police during the meetings. And that's horrible. You should not, the police should be at the meetings to make statements about their work, right? They should be here to contribute to the discussion, not to throw around their force and use force to toss people from the meetings. But you know, starting with that anti-cannabis mob meeting that happened earlier this year, the police have taken on a new inappropriate role in these meetings, and it is so wrong to see them used that way, and I know that that's the reason that so many people are up in arms on all sides of the political spectrum, because we want our meetings to be run by civilians. We don't need the police throwing their weight around in these meetings, and yeah, I do have a lot of concerns and questions for the council. I know that the chief mentioned a statistic at one of these meetings that 76% of crimes are solved. Can he please tell us the source of that statistic, what categories of crimes we're talking about, and what time period? Because the numbers I've looked up, the most recent numbers available didn't seem to add up to that. I'd also like to know how many police officers are on the force. Are you able to answer these questions now? Okay, I'll hang out to get the answers. The reason I bring that one up is I saw a letter from the mayor and the police chief, I believe claiming 195 officers serving, but the response to my Oprah request, I saw only 190 and 5 of them are suspended. So I think that you shouldn't be counting officers that are currently suspended as serving, especially since they're suspended due to criminal investigations and cases. I also just have to ask about the inflatable cops that have been on patrol. I can't believe it's a real thing, but I saw it myself. So I seen, a cop car parked on 27 with a couple of blow-up dolls with an Edison police instructor uniforms on. I want to know who authorized this. Is this a tactic that makes sense? Because to me, it seemed so outlandish and stood out as so fake that even someone just driving past would immediately recognize it as, not real. And I think that all of these concerns sort of come together with the revelation that the mayor brought 4 Edison police officers with him for a trip to Chicago to the Democratic National Convention. He claims that he's reimbursed the township for all the expenses incurred from that, but it's impossible to prove. We don't know what hotels, we haven't seen any hotel receipts. I've requested these through Oprah, and for the record, the mayor says that he's used his campaign money to reimburse the township, and that some of the expenses were campaign expenses for him, but last I checked, he hasn't filed the required campaign finance paperwork since April, so we have no way of verifying whether these things are actually true, whether the township actually was reimbursed the correct amount or not enough. And it's kind of sad that I keep having to come to these meetings to get these answers. But again, I'm here tonight because you're not showing the public, and New Brunswick Today wants to make sure that people can see what's going on at this podium. So I'm here, and we'll be posting our video to the New Brunswick Today YouTube channel. I encourage you to come up with a Let There Be Light ordinance, to actually change the policies and practices of this meeting, to legislate that the camera will show the public, to legislate Zoom access to these meetings, and to legislate that the public's not going to get tossed by the police because one man says they should. That should never happen at these meetings, and I hope that you will legislate to make sure it never does again. Thank you.
I have to give something to the council.
More than okay.
Good job. Edward Lefty Grimes. I'm with sativacross.org. We're a 501c3 here in New Jersey fighting for disability rights and cannabis patients' rights. I just passed my forward for you to look at. It's my joint resolution from the Assembly and the Senate for my work with the disabled and for cannabis patients. This would not be able to be done without props, costumes, songs. We went to council meetings. Me and Bongolio here have been to hundreds of council meetings all over New Jersey, fighting for cannabis patients, fighting for disabled rights. And we use props. I use a mask. We use all these things. And that ordinance, it'll talk about that. It says how you guys are supposed to support what I'm doing with my mission. You're supposed to support my mission. But you're not. You're stifling my mission. I'm trying to help disabled people. If you look at the bottom of that, it's signed by our great Assembly Speaker, respected Assembly Speaker, Craig Coughlin. Now, if Burns was here tonight, I'd be yelling at him for embarrassing Craig Coughlin's law firm with his lack of constitutional knowledge, lack of the First Amendment, being a crappy American and a crappy attorney. Shame on him. And I hope this guy here, I don't know who he is, but I hope he's a little more competent than Burns. Well, he left the room. But the thing about Joshi and the sexual stuff, it's really disgusting that we have to be talking about this for the next 6 months. We're going to be talking about Sam Joshi and his police report about his penis. For 6 months. Does he want this? Does he want us coming here talking about his penis for 6 months? Does he want that type of abuse? None of us want to hear about his penis anymore. We all want to keep Sam Joshi's penis out of our mouths. But here we are again, talking about it. We'll be talking about this all the way up to the election. Embarrassing your town. Embarrassing this council. Shame on you. So, the police chief here, now, Mikey, you've been with me. We've met a lot of great police chiefs. Police chiefs that want to smoke weed with us. I mean, these are great chiefs. And amazing chiefs. I was surprised with all the cool chiefs I met, and the ignorance is no excuse for them. You're not one of them. You allowed your police to be put in a position where they're going to violate the Constitution? What is wrong with you? That's your job. Look out for your boys. You didn't do that.
You need to protect their 6.
Yeah, you didn't protect their 6, or your own. You should resign as well. Burns needs to resign. So, I'd like to do the trifecta. I'd like to hold up a copy of this Bible, because we're in a struggle not against blood and flesh, but against the authorities, against the rulers of this dark world. And that's a couple of you up there. You're actually in Scripture. It talks about you in Scripture. How does that feel? So I'd like to end this with a song. With a prop, a mask, and a song. Yeah. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave. I got a minute and 20 seconds.
You want to let them know about the 2 cars blocking?
You know what? Let me tell you one more thing about Zoom access. That's right.
Yes.
You took away Zoom access for disabled vets. Let me go back here. For 19 months, You gave access to disabled vets. Things that we've been asking for years. We've been asking for online school, online work, online church, online council meetings, and you gave it to us for 19 months. And then you took it away. And so Burns doesn't know anything about Title II of the ADA. There's a process for going through all that. You have to have a question and answer period. You have to have a grievance procedure. You have to have a transitional period. Your ADA coordinator had to be involved, which you don't even have. So yeah, your patriotism and your love for our vets is at an all-time low. Because now they can't take part. My friend Jeff took part from his deathbed. He couldn't do that anymore. I'm in pain. I would rather take part from a Zoom meeting because I have horrible neuropathy, I have arthritis, I have an artificial disc, I have a fusion, I have a 2-level cervical. I'm a mess. I shouldn't be here right now in pain. But I'm here because this is important and we couldn't fight for the things that we fight for without the First Amendment. The First Amendment is very important to us, so there it is. Thank you.
God bless you.
Rob Kento, 61 Meadow. I wasn't going to speak tonight, but a couple people brought it up, so I'll answer that. But for everybody who don't know me, my name's Rob Kentos. I'm a 15th generation Edison resident. My family's been here since 1668. I've got about 104 veterans buried right here in Edison that are related to me. My family mill was burned twice during the Revolutionary War. I wasn't going to speak about that tonight. I was going to speak about it on Wednesday. But I just want to, I have a question, finally, from, listen everybody. I study Edison, study politics. I watch these council meetings like I'm dissecting, like a forensic scientist. Rich Brescher asked Mr. Burns, specifically, has anybody else in your law firm reviewed these ordinances? And he said, you did, Mr. Renaud. So I'd like that to be answered. Did you personally review these ordinances? That's all I got for tonight. Thank you.
He gets paid to do what Josie wants.
Zimmerman, Edison.
You recognize.
Thank you. One of the reasons there's not a lot of people at these meetings no more is because maybe 1 or 2 council persons. I'm going to mention a name, Jim Cougar. If he was here tonight, rest in peace. He'd be ripping everybody in New River End.
He would. I know Jim.
He was a highly decorated service guy, union construction. He knew his stuff. If I can remember right, I think he ran for mayor years ago. And I wish people like him was alive.
Oh, yes.
You got people that are thrown out of here, don't even want to come back here no more.
Like Mr. Diamond.
Bruce Diamond's one.
My first time.
You attempted to throw me out on 9/25. I went to Deputy Chief Duty, he just sit back down. I got up to thank A.J. Patel for telling me the fine job I did. And I said, the work I did for this town, nobody's gonna fill my shoes. Look at the town today. Garbage all over the place. Signs all over the place. I was down in Mississippi last week, Lucedale. A place, clean, no litter, no signs, nothing, but farm areas. I went to visit Union Brothers. I worked with 23 years ago during 9/11 at the power plant in Sayreville. But one of the reasons I came here tonight is, like you know, I was born for 3 years by a person that threw 40 of these in the garbage on Amboy Avenue. 40 of these in the garbage. 40 of these. And he had me bought. And I say it again. When my wife passed away 28 months ago, he was bought for the funeral. I could have my job back right now in 20 days, after 6 months. They couldn't pay me enough. because I was abused, I was barred, I was targeted, and nobody did anything about it. And everybody knew about it. Why? Any answers? Any answers, anybody? AJ knew I did a damn good job. Rich Bush knew I did a damn good job. And like the one person said, you can't come up here to talk when you're working for the town. And that is wrong. A police officer, a fireman, or a township worker, they cannot come up here. And John, the issue I report you to about that high grass, that Pleasant and Grandview, is not cut yet. Every year, 2 council periods within this area, you do nothing about it, he does nothing about it. I complained to the Board of Health on Woodbridge Avenue, where the mud place was, or Christian and Diner, the grass ain't been cut one time. The Board of Health inspector said to me, oh, I ain't been in the area lately. BS, I see him pass the area all the time. When we did grass, there wasn't a lot of high grass. They give it to the Board of Health, they do this. Board of Health only take calls. Us, we react. We see it, we do something about it. And technically, I was supposed to be making $51,000 a year. Melissa Persine was supposed to check other towns when I got hired. What the pay scale should have been with other towns. She never did. That was in February. We got a check. 4 months later, the Friday before Mother's Day weekend, I had to meet with Tom, the mayor, Melissa, and Maureen. I said, Tom, when am I going full time? I got deferred 4 months because of the person. She supposed to call out of town. They never did. They started me at $25,000. $25,000. That's welfare price.
You ain't kidding.
And we sat down. I was supposed to get that raise, like I said 3 months ago. Why didn't I get a raise? I wonder why. You work like a dog and a jackass, and you get your gougage. Merry Christmas.
Anybody else that would like to speak? All right. And then
Got one
motion to
thing I
close
was
the public
saying.
hearing.
Hang on, back Wednesday. Come back Wednesday?
Yeah.
No, you can still speak. Oh, yeah, all right.
You'll be able to speak.
So, identify as a flagpole.
Did you already speak?
You already spoke once. And you took away the video. It's not on video.
Yep.
It conveniently got shut off.
He's speaking again. Good time,
You have.
We got 30 seconds left, so go ahead.
I got 30 seconds. Nobody on TV saw me.
No, that's not true. You have 30
That's not true at all. It got shut off.
It is true.
It is true.
Yeah, that's why I asked you.
Oh, that wasn't on TV.
You said you would give him his time.
Okay.
You think I want to say this again? I don't.
I will allow it.
Oh, thank you, Ken.
Because if I allow it for one, I will allow for all, so we can do this. Your name and address?
I identify as a flag.
I can't.
At UPS. Somebody used my name. Took a drug road test and failed the test.
You're out of order. This whole fucking thing is out of order.
Could Edison investigate UPS?
Sir, please. Only the person that's, thank you. Your name and address, and you'll be right back.
Somebody used my name.
Identify as a flagpole.
Alright.
Alright, so, bad legal advice really pays. If you guys Google their law firm, you're gonna see it went from like $30,000, $40,000 a year, but all the places that they have, the 21 counties, or whatever amount of counties, they have a lot of different, because they have a lot of different places that hire them, because they think that because he's the assembly president, they're gonna get better favors. So that's why they have this law firm, and if you look, the bad legal advice, they're gonna get paid really nice, because they're gonna try to defend this. Your apology is just bullshit, because we told you, we gave you the case law. Roosevelt versus New Jersey. You ignored it, and then you just said, you know what, you're out. And then the officers threw us out. So we had to watch everything that we had to say because we might get thrown out by the king. I open requested your video. I get back today, today's due, 4:30. Oh, we have another 7 business days.
Delay.
You guys turned off your commenting on Facebook. That's illegal. Ronco versus Carteret. That's a government page. You can't do that. Sam did that. And actually, as I was trying to type on yours, you were actively shutting off your commenting. Actively doing it. And I messaged you, and I told you this. You didn't respond to me, right? You just ignored me like you do at every meeting. Again, the Zoom meeting should be on there, so if I want to be at home, or because this went international, people from all over the world could be talking on this. But you stifle their speech too. You know, right now you guys cut the little pie saying, oh, this is allowed illegally, because it's not even on the agenda, just make the shit up as you go. So that should be rescinded. The time limit should be rescinded back to 6 minutes. You know, the reason we're all here is because of Krista Metropolis, Jersey Watcher. He's on YouTube, like and subscribe. Yes. You know, he's been subjected to the unjust treatment from this council. His rights have been trampled on, and his voice has been silenced. You know, this is unacceptable to us. That's why we're here. You know, it's above the flag and the Constitution. We must stand together and enforce every member of our community has the right to speak freely without fear of retribution. I fear that when this scandal subsides, you're going to go right back to do the unconstitutional ordinance. You know, and these officers do know better. You know, and if not, they should have called the prosecutor's office. There's his own prosecutor that's always available to let them know. But, and I want to know too on Facebook, why all of a sudden people I may know do that? You're on my thing. That's because you're looking at me. Pointer, you're on my thing. People I may know. I don't know you people. You're looking at us. Why? Because we're talking out? Chris has been charged with crimes because of all this political speech. Are you going to charge him more now because you got international coverage now? Oh, I like the eye look. Well, maybe, yeah, hey, who knows? Stand by. I demand every charge that's against him be dismissed. You guys have the power to charge us, and that's why you have the Gestapo come out and send us the other way. We don't have the right to charge you, but I think I'm going to charge you too with the 2C charge. And official misconduct as well. You're a public official and you're enacting unconstitutional laws and then having the police escort out the people that violate the law according to you. You can't even look at me, so he can look at you, Mike, you can't look at me. You know, I demand your resignation. I already filed the IA today. Oh yeah, who gives a shit, right? Yeah, who gives a shit? Yeah. Really nice. And we express our opinions, and that's the reaction we get. Who gives a shit? Mike, I can look you up, no problem. You know, we don't forfeit our rights when we say something you don't like. You know, and I believe that with fire and the ACLU, I actually emailed the ACLU after that October meeting. They didn't respond, but they're about the money too, so now they're jumping in on this. If you want to see the first time I spoke before, conveniently the TV was all of a sudden shut off. You can go on Jersey Watcher's page and a couple of the auditors and stuff that are here and see the first thing, because I'm not reading the whole thing again. You know, I demand the Attorney General investigate the Chief of Police. And I've spoken to other Chiefs of Police. They're like, there's no way I would have anybody escort anybody out of here for exercising their rights. We know what the line is. We stay within the line of what we're allowed to do and say. But yet, you create unconstitutional ordinances, and we begged you back in October and other months. You know, stop going after Christo and just let him say his stuff. If you want to talk with a plastic mask on and you can't hear him, that's on him. I think the ACLU should sue you guys. I know everybody's been thrown out of your meetings. Hopefully the ACLU or fire will contact us, because I'd love to sue the shit out of you. Like the other guy said, sue you to submission. I think the bar should revoke Mike Burns' license. I already filed complaints with the Bar Association. And I encourage everybody to go on the Edison, New Jersey taxpayers page. And you can see exactly what I wrote, because I put it up there. And, you know, don't just come out here and say something or make a phone call. Make a paper trail so they have to follow through. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else that want to speak?
Get the UPS driver.
Oh.
Yeah. All right, good evening. Ben's from Edison, New Jersey. You have the floor, Council President.
You're recognized.
I don't give out my legal name, but because the press is here, my name is Andrew M. Benzamanga, but please call me Benz. I want to thank the First Amendment auditors who are here. I want to thank Charlie Craven from New Brunswick today, and hello to your viewers as well. Great job, Charlie. I want to give appreciate to Dan from New Jersey. He is amazing, amazing article. Can't wait to see you next couple of weeks. All right, well, what a day. We have a lot of people literally discussing about this issue for months and months and months after time. Between the Sam Joshi allegations, between our First Amendments were being stumped over and violating, between of Joe Bassoff being thrown out, and now we got the press here. Real nice. Well, I already said my statement on social media. I'm not going to read it. But you know, Mr. Council President, you're going to be here for your last seat until we have someone taking over. I would like to recognize as Ms. Margot as president for the next council meeting, to be honest. And the vice president, I want to pick you, Mr. Brescia, but you're doing a, you know, you're running for mayor, and I definitely got your back on that. So to replace you, I'm asking if you guys can please. Because this is getting out of control. You got the media here, you got people over here, you're asking for lawsuits. We should, you know, we should have good things about Edison, not how we are just violating people's rights. This is just ridiculous. And I said this over and over, and you keep coming down this road, and now you get into a big pile of shit where you had to cover your ass, and the whole apology is to be honest with you, is a bunch of bullshit.
Yes.
For real, it is a bunch of bullshit. You guys know better. You had crisis management. They had Middlesex County crisis management. You know how much that cost? Thousands of dollars out of your case because of their actions. Unexcusable. You need to resign. You need to repeal this, or things are going to start coming to everyone's way. Wait for Wednesday, oh. then you better act for the popcorn and the show, and there you go. That's all I'm gonna say.
And 6 minutes, we want 6 minutes.
You know, the 6 minutes, yeah. They're changing it from 6 to 4 minutes. 2 minutes less to speak. No, we need to keep the 6 minutes. We need to keep the 6 minutes, get rid of the props act. And the first, you know, this is getting ridiculous. You guys are asking way too much. Do the right thing. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you very much. You can close the speaker, the floor.
Sir, you're recognized.
Good evening, Council. Rostow County, 962 Dover Road, Edison.
You're recognized.
65-year resident of Edison Township. And I just want to remind everyone that there's going to be an election coming up next year, and you vote based on your beliefs and the voting record of those that represent you. There are, I think everybody on this council has voted against my wishes over the last 2 years since I've been coming to the Township Council meetings on a regular basis. Even though 2 members voted against the ordinance, 1 abstained, Margaret Harris was not here, so I understand that she probably would have voted against it as well. It still would have passed. But the apology that came through tonight as a result of this was shallow. It was appreciated, but it was shallow. And as others have mentioned, I believe that the ordinance should be repealed completely.
just take it off the table. My wife was kind enough to point out that you started to have the ordinance followed. You kick people out of the town council meetings before it was even an ordinance. The rules weren't even put in place yet. And you're still not in place, but you guys are out of control. Tonight is a total 180-degree difference from what you've done over the past 6 months. You've actually let someone come up here twice tonight. You never would have did that before. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, everybody else should come up here again, because we're not being photographed. So I invite anybody else that wants to come up and speak again, go ahead and do so, because somebody else did it, you should be able to do it. Because they're out of control. They don't know how to control a meeting. This meeting got so far out of control about a month and a half ago with a member of the council and our police chief arguing that that display was far worse than any one of the citizens had here. It was out of control. You got a guy with a gun arguing with a council member, and nobody did anything about it. What did you do? They took a recess.
And they end the video.
So anyway, I ask all the residents of Edison Township that these issues matter to, that come out and vote based on the voting record of the council members and the mayor and anybody else that we elect to represent us. Thank you for your comment. It's not about Democrats or Republicans. All these issues cross party lines.
Correct.
So you vote on your conscience and the voting record of what your beliefs are. Thank you.
Anybody else that wants to speak? All right, I would like to speak a second time.
I'd like to speak a second time.
I'll take a motion to close the public portion.
I'd like to speak once more. Me too, yeah.
Motion to close the public hearing.
I'd like to speak one more time.
All right, that's motion by Council Vice President, second by Councilman Coyle. All in favor?
You're not treating everyone equally.
Can I get a recess for like 10 minutes?
I would like to speak.
Just, can I get a motion for recess?
Point of order, Mr. President, hearing 9 o'clock, when it says that we get extended time, if it's past 9 o'clock, so we'll at least extend the meeting.
Let's extend it till 11, that's the evening.
I would like a second opportunity to speak.
All right, can I get a motion to extend the meeting till 11? Motion. Second. All right, that's a motion by Councilman. Vice President, second by Councilman Lato. All in favor? All right. May I get a recess for 5 minutes?
Motion to recess.
And may I get a second?
Want to bite the apple again?
And that's motion by Council Vice President, second by Councilman Pointer. All in favor? Aye. Recess.
Just ignore it.
Get up. Go to work.
Motion.
No, you can't do anything. Yeah.
That's motion by Councilman Plato, second by
I'm sorry, pardon me.
All in favor?
Aye. Still good to see you, Bill.
We convene at 9:01 p.m. Okay, so we do have a lot of questions. What we're going to do is we're going to get through the business portion, and then when we get to number 17, actually, we will be moving 17. We will be answering the question, and then we'll get to the discussion items. We are removing item 11B from the agenda and removing ordinance 2241 from the agenda as well. It wasn't noticed by the clerk's office in time, and the public hearing will be rescheduled for January 8th. Can I please have order in the meeting so people can listen?
Council's in session, Council President is speaking.
Everybody please sit down. We're going to continue. All right, moving on to review of minutes. Regular meeting is October 9th. Any questions or comments?
I wanted to comment on the other side too.
Yeah, we're going to be doing that prior to after 16. After the business portion is done. And then we're going to go into the discussion item.
And you just going to put it into the discussion item?
before the decision.
I mean, so they come up and ask a question, then they have to sit there and watch the whole thing to get the question. I mean, I understand maybe not at that moment, but it would be bizarre behavior as any sort of, running any sort of meeting, to push the answers to the end of the meeting.
I understand that, but this is, we're going to finish the business of the portion. Thank you. Moving on to regular meetings of October 9th. Any questions?
You're not going to answer our questions. You got to wait till the end.
We are going to answer the questions like I said.
I want to go. You should have answered when they were asked. You want transparency.
I told you, Council President, you're
This is how you anger the public. You're lying.
There were good vacations.
We will be answering the questions.
You're hoping everybody goes home.
So you guys say we're doing the township business. I hope you guys start doing it.
Answer our question. Answer the question. You said you would answer at the end.
Council President, in my humble opinion, to maintain decorum in this chamber, we should just answer the question.
Thank you.
Questions. The first thing was brought up. Everybody, please sit down and pay attention.
Public speaks and you guys answer the question. Please answer the question.
All right. First question was about the Edison Art Society. Council Vice President.
Yes. So I know that Joel Bazoff and Liz Conway asked about the Edison Art Society, and yes, I agree that it is dismaying that they were removed not only from the third floor, but apparently from the building altogether. However, the good news is, as I am a liaison to the library board and I'm also on the Edison, the Cultural Arts Commission, we think we have a rehoming for them at the main library, which will be at the, I think it's at the main library. And I know that Alan from the library board and Liz Hahn are in discussions about this, but I brought this up at the last library board meeting, and the board seemed very, very, they seemed very, very receptive to having the Edison Art Society exhibit there. So we think that we have at least for now, a home for them. So, so they will have a place to exhibit. I agree. I think it's a shame that after all this time, the third floor, which is really wonderful exhibition space, I mean, it's a shame that they have been removed from there. So we're gonna come up with it and hope that we can get new exhibitions very soon. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Couple of questions for Sonia. What are the number of police on force?
Council President, you forgot about the filming.
Huh?
The filming, she asked about the arts, and then she asked about filming events.
That's something for Sonia. Sonia, can someone request to have Edison TV filmed?
I will, yes, I will certainly take that to the administration and provide them your input and request.
Okay. And then in terms of the number of police on duty, or that we have on?
194.
194? Okay. And the question on Edison seniors, what services are we providing on Edison seniors?
Sure, so we put together a monthly program. If you'd like, I can run down through some of those programmings. For example, we have a history of North Edison brought to, Walter Social. That happened this past week, December 3rd. We have some health talks that's coming up this Friday. There's regular programming we have. Those are Zumba classes and other physical activity classes. There's also conversations and information regarding will, trust. There's also a health osteoporosis programming that's coming up. Not to mention also, and those are two locations. So you have Mini B Deal, and then you have the Woodbridge area. I can certainly provide this fulsome to all council because there's just quite a bit. I also have some January program that's coming up. So again, two locations, Mini B Deal and at the Woodbridge Center, and those include regular programming, the meals, We also have the programming where we take seniors shopping, to various trips, medical appointments and the like. So I will provide this all to everyone. There's 3 separate sets of programming that we provide at both locations and throughout the township.
Yes.
In that same line of thought, when they were talking about how many police officers, they were asking about the crime stats. In fact, I think I asked about that a couple of weeks ago, to get them for the last 3 years, and I was told I was going to get them, but I haven't received them as of yet. And he offered them, and he said he can't seem to get them. So where would we be with crime stats?
Councilman, and the chief can expand on it. They are available on the state's website, so I can send you the link. I was just made aware of that, so.
Right, for the last 2
If
years?
the chief has anything, yes, for the last 3 years,
Okay,
yes,
so
sir.
I get last month's.
I will send you the link
Okay.
for the OCRs.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, oh, and then they had the question about the Chicago, and about that getting, it was about Oprah too, where they were looking to get the information on the Oprah for any kind of cost, as far as hotels, food, lodging.
Those specific Oprah requests have been fulfilled.
Okay, I think that's what he was complaining about, he said he could get them.
And I know I actually put them together and sent them to the clerk's office, who
Okay.
has then submitted to the requesters.
All right, I'll check with them. That'll be, that's good.
Okay. In terms of the camera angle, I would request that we do change them back to what we had originally. And and I think that is a simple ask of the council, and if this is what the council wants.
Understood.
Yes, we have to change.
Councilman?
Yes.
Turn it now?
The residents made it clear that that falls underneath our jurisdiction. So can we vote on it just as a body to put it back so that it doesn't get removed?
Yes. A motion, please do.
Do a motion on that?
Council President, before we do that motion, I want to do it in full transparency. It is not about just changing the camera or restoring how it was recorded, but also restoring anything that was deleted.
Yes.
And both of those as one line item in full transparency.
Council President, just point of order.
I'm not sure I am.
Is this something we put on this work session to be voted on Wednesday? Correct. Okay, thank you.
But can you motion that, Councilman Top?
I think Jones moved very deep. He's looking for a second.
What's the motion?
Motion and he second.
No, but what exactly?
Motion.
Okay, motion to add restoring the council meeting recording as they were before, plus restoring any council meetings, whether they were on the YouTube or any social media, to be restored. That's a motion.
Council President, just for the priority of getting something done, can we make 2 separate motions so that the first one gets done right away, which is what the public wants, is the angles? And the second motion to reinstate any videos that were edited. I don't want one to not happen without the other, just let get one done, get the first one done, that's most important.
Understood, I'm okay with
The one you're talking about is all over YouTube. So it's not like people can't find it.
We're going off on tangent here. Okay.
I'm fine with, having 2 resolution, I'm moving the motion.
Okay. So let's just do the motion for the camera angle. Motion for the
Motion for the camera angle to
May I have a
restore.
second? Second. That's a motion by Councilman Pato to restore the camera angle, second by Councilman Vice President.
Yes.
So
this will go on for your, resolution on for your meeting on Wednesday.
Yes. All right, and may I get a roll call to that? Do you have that?
No, I don't think I have. No, we don't have to. So it's just, if there's a motion and a second and there's no objection, we'll just.
Okay, so no objection. Any objection?
No objection from the public.
Point of order, Council President.
Yeah, can we please keep the distractions to the minimum so we can get
There are
this
plenty of
one?
people who are not doing that, and he seems to just continue to do it.
You're picking on me?
Sir.
I'm pointing out
Yes.
Council President, someone's disturbing the meeting continuously, and no one else is but one person.
He's not disturbing me.
That's not disturbing.
It's called the First Amendment.
Yes.
You're wrong.
Continue with the meeting. You're start pissing me the off.
That disturbs the meeting, Mayor.
Okay. Can we continue the meeting? Thank you. Moving forward.
So you need the second motion because second resolution.
Okay, a motion to reinstate a motion to add to the agenda for Wednesday to reinstate any videos prior that may have been edited or
Deleted. All right, may I have a second? Second. All right, that's a motion by Councilman Coyle, second by Councilman Pato. Any objection? All right, so this is added to the agenda for Wednesday. What's done? Now there was a question on this particular ordinance that was passed and how it will not be content-based. Can you clarify that?
The ordinance isn't, I mean, if you read the ordinance, it's content neutral, and that's how it will be applied. So I'm not quite sure. I think your statements tonight were with regards, specifically with regards to the flag. But obviously the ordinance itself, by the way, the ordinance itself doesn't mention the flag in any way, shape, manner, or form. So the ordinance as drafted is content neutral.
And just continuing off of that, I think the question also was asked as to how were the rules implemented prior to, as I stated in my president's remarks, that I, as the person who is in charge of maintaining the decorum in this chamber, and I have been, I regret the decisions I made on those things, and hopefully with this ordinance, this resolution we passed, we correct that. Councilman Becker?
Yes, I'd like to comment on this.
Yes.
Number one, and I've said this, people have said that.
What's that?
Just in respect, because it is technically on the agenda, like the specific resolution.
I'm replying to what the residents came up and spoke to. I will speak again about it when we get to that part. But I want the residents just to know, and it's a very, very simple thing.
Can't hear
I
you.
said it.
Use the mic.
Okay. I think they turned my mic down, but no, that's a joke. I was talking to residents earlier. Like, if I go any farther, I'm gonna eat it. So, I was talking to residents. I explained that the same people that are in this room were here before this mayor and his council people got in. That's a fact. And I will explain that we had different council people at the time. One of them is the chief of staff upstairs. He told me, what could we do to make the meetings better now that he's chief of staff? I asked him, what are we doing any different than when he was sitting on the dais? So we had Christo from Jersey Watcher, he was here. Our meetings were never like this, never. So you have to look at what changed in life, right? What changed is a different mayor, a different council, and a different belief, okay? And I go to this with our police department, okay? And any of our policemen here that know the story about the Board of Education in Edison should be well aware of this. There was a Board of Ed president, I forgot who it was. They asked our officers to remove someone from being disruptive. It could have been Christo, actually, but I'm not sure.
It was Ramon Joshi.
Well, okay.
It was Sam Joshi's own.
Can't talk though, but, okay, so at that meeting, they asked him to be removed. The officer said he is not disruptive, and therefore I will not remove him. Again, the same point. We've had the same officers. We've had the same chief. The only difference are 3 council people and the mayor. And that's the only thing that has changed. These meetings go on till midnight. They devolve into chaos. All because they decided they were going to try and make a better scrambled egg. And I warned them about this a few years ago. And we spent, I don't know how many thousands of dollars, could be $100,000 in legal fees, to try and devise a way to stop Christo. So all these intelligent people here, private person, where you give them 6 minutes, and we don't have a problem. So the problem is not Christo. The problem is not the public. The problem isn't your minutes speaking. The problem is the man upstairs. That's where I'm going with it. And these are facts. You can look at these, okay? It is self-evident. Since that's happened, since the new mayor came in, and we have a new council president this year, our laws are all inconsistent. They change from meeting to meeting, right? So there is no order, no decorum. We act childish here. It's reckless and it's irresponsible. These are all key words that describe this administration and the way that this council has been acting over the last 3 years. And that would be it, Council President, on this.
Thank you, Councilman Brasher.
I love you. I love you.
Have any other questions that I missed?
I asked if you would resign.
Okay, so moving forward, review of minutes, 6A, any questions or comments from the council?
You recorded that?
All right, moving to number 7, reports from all council committees, starting on the right, Councilman Brasher.
Yes, the Veterans Committee, we discussed,
Please listen to Councilman Brasher. Thank you.
on the Veterans Committee, there's 2 main things we looked at. We have memorials around the town, and we're documenting which ones need to be cleaned up. Some might need a little beautification, some of the stones might need some cleaning, but we're gonna put a list together to give to the administration to take care of for us. Because of the new mayor and the new legal council we had, our plans on the Veterans Memorial, we had a change of strategy. So initially it was like a community project where I was gonna go out there and dig the hole myself, right? And we were gonna put our own electric in and that type of thing. So the costs were negligible. Oh, I think negligible, but the costs were like, I think we came up with $10,000 or something. But since we were told we had to go to the township, and the township has to hire people, and it's all union, we had to reassess the cost. And I think so far I'm up to about $65,000. We're gonna put that together and do a presentation of where the township has the money to allocate for it. Our commissioners, Rios and Tamaro, told me that they would supply half of the funds if the township supplies half of the funds. So I think this is like a no-brainer to get the organization, the funding, and then for us to get this drawn up and done. And I'm gonna hope next meeting we can present this to the council. And then it would be up to like the business administrator to get somebody on board to actually do like you can do 2 ways. You can have DPW work it out, or you can hire an architect, which would be more costly. But then we could just add more funds to whatever, I think it was about $65,000 if you looked this stuff up. But that was our veterans.
Thank you. Councilman Quinn?
None, sir.
Council Westman.
Yes, starting with the animal shelter, November report. Currently in the shelter, 10 dogs, 2 puppies, 16 cats, and 5 kittens. Adopted in November, 16 canines, 34 felines, and reclaimed in November were 6 canines. But the best news that has come out of the November report is that Demetrius, who was a pit bull mix, who was in the shelter for 450 days, finally got adopted. So that's very, very happy news. And we're grateful to the people who took him on. Really beautiful, beautiful dog. Library board, we had a special meeting on November 21st, and this was dealing with the bids for the North Edison branch project. 18 bids had been received on November 7th and were open publicly. The bids were then reviewed for completeness and accuracy. Upon review, it was determined that the low bidder, structural steel subcontractor, does not meet the quality assurance requirements of the structural steel specifications. Since the lowest bid meets those requirements is in excess of the library's budget, all bids will be rejected. The project will be rebid with the specifications modified to remove that pre-qualification requirement, and other changes may be made to the documents to assist in receiving bids at or below the library's budget. Mark Burkowski, who's the library's owner's rep for the North Edison project, further explained that the bid process and quality assurance requirements. He said that the challenge to the bid and why it's recommended to discard the bids eliminate that requirement and rebid. It was approved to reject the bids that were received on November 7th, and it was also approved to rebid North Edison. And then it was in that meeting where I asked about the space for the Edison Art Society, and that Alan Kleinman stated that there is room and he will reach out. And I think that is it for Library Board. And finally, Human Relations Commission. I was not in attendance, but that was December 3rd. Commissioner Charles Tamaro spoke on the Hands Up Hope Food Pantry, a 501c3, open the first and third Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. to feed families in our area. Things changed during COVID. Now there's a drive-through. Please check out online on www.hohnj.org for volunteer opportunities, which fill up very quickly. We have high school volunteers such as Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts. This past Thanksgiving, we served 427 families and 1,000 hot lunches. We received a $70,000 grant, which allows us to improve our pantry and add a cargo pen. We are now a choice pantry with that grant. There are 160 food pantries throughout Middlesex County. We are looking for non-perishable goods. We share food, like we recently sent 7 pallets of food for a replenish. We share food so no one goes without. Our fundraiser at Top Golf in April is our biggest one. No one is ever turned away, but we service any Middlesex resident. On December 21st, we will have a bowling tournament to gather toys for our clients with children. On December 16th, Edison Police will help sponsor a toy giveaway for over 300 children. We shared services with Edison Housing Authority and Community Food Bank of New Jersey. The Library Board President Pat Massey did join through the Zoom call, mentioned the construction of the top floor of the main branch. Looks forward to the lower level on December 13th. The next meeting is to be determined. We're trying to find a time and space for that. Library Board, the next meeting is tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Councilor Patel?
None at this time.
Councilor Pointer?
None, sir.
Councilor Schwab?
At this time, if I could ask Councilman Brescher, if there's going to be specific veteran memorials that you were discussing in your committee, you could go look, that you're looking to refurbish.
Yeah, so we have a list. Actually, Sue has a list. She's been driving all around town. There's 7?
13.
Oh, 13. Right. So we actually have 13. Right. Look, I didn't know that there were even that many. Some of them we all know because we passed them. You know what I mean? And they're in different states. Some are really pretty good. Other ones could use a sprucing up with the stones cleaned, things of that nature. So they're going to put together a list. Sue's taking pictures of everything. And then we leave it up to the veterans to kind of decide which ones they're going to want. And then that'll be part of the presentation that we'll make. Or not that I'll make, but the committee will make, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
None for me. Moving on to point of lights. Any council member with point of lights?
Yes,
Council Vice President.
Yes. I think I'm speaking for the rest of the council in wanting to thank profusely our fire and response teams for the fire at the senior housing on Inman and Grove. They did a remarkable job in taking care of this, and we owe them a debt of gratitude. And I also want to thank the JCC for their volunteer efforts to help out those seniors who are displaced with clothing, meals, etc. So really great job to public safety. Our Winter Wonderland opening was held this past Saturday. Really a beautiful, beautiful sight. You can see all the lights out there, and it's very, very festive. And speaking of Winter Wonderland, which The Recreation Department, Department of Public Works, and our police force did a great job in working together. Speaking of recreation, Joyce Furcha, who's been with Edison for 40 years, is retiring at the end of this year. And she has been remarkable. She's battled health problems, but she has been on hand and has done such a great job, and I believe we will be honoring her at the December 23rd meeting. So just a shout out to Joyce Furcha. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other council members? Councilman Quinn?
I apologize if I missed this in your comment, but I just wanted to express appreciation to the fire department for addressing the fire on Jackson Avenue the other day. Oh, I was just mentioning my appreciation to the fire department and OEM for addressing the fire that recently happened on Jackson Avenue, in addition to everything that happened earlier this week. Thank you, Council President.
Any other council members? All right, as for me, a couple of announcements. The holiday dance for teens and adults with disabilities will be Friday, December 13th at Mini Wheel at 6:30 p.m. The menorah lighting on Thursday, December 19th at GCC, Gym on Oak Tree Road at 7 p.m. The Holiday House decorating contest deadline for registration is on Wednesday, December 11th. And the Gingerbread House picture contest deadline for registration is Friday, December 20th. The Township offices are closed for the holidays on Christmas Eve, December 24th, which is a half day, closed on December 25th for Christmas. New Year's Eve, December 31st is a half day and is closed on January 1st. I too want to echo the sentiments that Council Vice President and Councilman Pointer pointed out. Thank you very much to the fire departments for all the hard work and risking your lives to help out our residents. And Winter Wonderland was wonderful. I had a lot of fun, and my wife had a lot of fun with my kids. I also want to mention Hands Up Hope that I attended with Charlie Tamara, and which fed about 200 families, and it's a great organization, and they are looking for canned foods. If anybody is interested, green beans are what they're looking for currently. I hope you can donate that. And again, congratulations to Joyce for her retirement, which is well deserved. Moving on to number 9 from the Business Administration. Any questions or comments? Councilman Pata?
Question to Sonia. Is this a 2-year contract, right?
It is a 1 year.
It's 1 year. Because somewhere I searched 2 years. And is this because we don't have licensed health officer, or it's in process?
It is in process, and it was my understanding even with the prior health director that they did not have a license, so it fell under the county's umbrella. However, as a condition of employment, we requested that Dr. Patel hold a license, so there is a test to be that she will be sitting in next year. And she is required by the state to have 2 years of administrative experience, if you will. And so, and that was confirmed. And it'll be March. Will be her official 2 years. She considered for the test in June.
Perfect, thank you.
I just wanted to add, I did speak to the county that I know this is a full year. However, our understanding, once the license is obtained, that we would then notify the county that we would no longer require their services.
Thank you.
Council President?
Councilman Brennan?
Yes, just for the record, Sonia, if we could just get those documents that are requested so that I can verify it. I know you said that it'll be, but as a councilman, to hear somebody say something, my job is to actually verify it. So, yeah, if I can see it in writing.
Sure, I can probably send you the letter that I got from the state saying about the 2 years.
About the state about 2 years.
The required experience.
Oh.
What I referenced to
Yeah, so
Councilman
we're
Steele.
talking about, right, what I did was, when we hired, I thought it was 1 year.
Condition of employment was that she will get the license, but in order for her to get the license, she has to have 2 years of experience.
Okay, but I thought it was supposed to be 1 year, was the original condition. That's why I'm looking through the original document. I understand if you're gonna tell me that the state requires 2 years, right? That could very well be. I would just assume that the administration, whoever would have known it was 2 years, and she already had 1 year if I was told 1 year. So I'm looking through the original you know, the original document from where you told it, or I go back and find YouTube videos or Edison TV videos to see the exact question I asked. But all I was asking for was just the document that shows that she agreed to whatever it is, a year, 2 years, that's all.
Also, you know, one remark I can make, all along for many, many years, we had engaged Middlesex County, but finally we'll have our own person with the license, and it's a good thing to have.
Yes. And I think we didn't have one for the longest time, so I'm glad we're getting this steps done. So hopefully we'll have one of our own. Moving on to number 10, from the Department of Finance, A through F. Any questions or comments?
Councilor,
Councilor Patton?
on F, 2025 debt service, I saw the payment starts from, it says it's a temporary approval, the resolution for temporary approval, but it lists the payments right from January 2025 all the way goes to the December 2025. Is there a reason that we are taking this in one resolution blanket approval, or can we do it either quarterly or monthly whenever the payments are due? That's my question.
Can you repeat that question?
I understand this question. So Councilman Patil, we're required by the state to adopt this resolution. And even then, when we have a temporary budget, so because of that requirement, we do have an allotted plan, as you mentioned, that covers us for 2025.
Thank you.
Kind of along the same lines, just because one of those line items is a pretty hefty number. I'm presuming it's probably the Silver Lake bond. If I can just get a call from Ken tomorrow, just to kind of explain how that will tie into next year's budget. Because my understanding is that this will be an appropriation that we're allocating funds to pay that bond back, not in a year, like a year over, it seems to be the full remaining balance. So I just want to have better clarity as to how that will play into next year's budget. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilor Pointer. Okay, moving on to number 11, we are going 11B. So it's just going to be A and C. Any questions on A and C?
Councilor Person?
Councilor Pato?
On C, is this for individual resident? Because in the packet I did see the name of the individual along with the driver license, which I would never prefer to be part of any packet. I'm perfectly fine to support this, but just a question that is this for an individual or it is for a company?
I'm not sure. Is this for an individual or is it limited liability? I think it's limited liability.
So this is for senior citizens and individual.
Correct. My only question there is, knowing that it is a senior citizen, is there any reason that we include the copy of driver's license in the packet that was sent to this council? It's a driver's license is a sensitive document.
I think it's only, it might be by completeness, but I think we're just trying to show that it's proof that it's a senior citizen. It's probably proof that was provided to us. So is that correct?
Yes, my understanding was.
Probably shouldn't be in the packet.
It may only be to the council, so I just want to confirm that with the clerk, that this was only included for council? Correct.
Okay.
The driver's license?
Right.
Yes, okay.
Thank you.
Moving on to number 12, A and B. Any questions or comments? Okay, moving on to number 13, A. Any questions or comments? Councilor Pointer?
Just a question to our Deputy Chief. Is it possible to know which fire station this pumper would be going to?
It's likely to be Station 2.
Station 2.
Thank you, Council President. I think this is great that we are able to upgrade our infrastructure in this capacity. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Brennan?
Yes, the chief at one time, he gave me a document, I was trying to find it, I couldn't find it. They gave us a list of all of our fire apparatus, the years, how old they were, and they had a replacement schedule. I can't seem to find it. You know, I have documents that are 4 feet high. Can I just get that list again? Sure. Thank you.
Moving on to number 14, A through E. Any questions or comments?
Council President?
Councilor Pointer?
Just item B, I think it's great that we have the opportunity to update our 911, again, infrastructure. Hopefully we are able to be awarded this grant because better infrastructure in the sense of being able to receive calls and then being able to disperse that information out will lead to a safer community. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Ford. Any other comments or questions? All right, as for me, I just wanted to point out, that our cameras are working and is able to help us be more vigilant and get more towing done. So I'm glad for that. Moving on to number 15, A and B. Any questions or comments?
Council President, on question A, this is expired license, not expired, inactive license, correct?
Correct.
And the address has multiple businesses. Do we know which business this one is tied to? There is a restaurant, there is a bowling alley, which is supposed to be senior center.
It's the bowling alley.
The bowling alley, it's a senior center. I'm surprised that they will have the liquor license. But anyway, thank you.
Oh, it's not the senior center, it's the bowling alley.
The bowling alley location.
It's the old bowling alley location with the pocket license now.
Correct. But that is getting converted as a senior center, not the township senior center, senior daycare center.
I think it's a pocket license.
No, so the last place where it was active was at the bowling alley, but now it's in pocket now, so it actually has no location.
Okay, thank you.
Carol, that's correct, right?
Council President?
Council Vice President.
Yes, on B, I just want to thank Councilman Pointer for having proposed this particular resolution about Worldwide Candle Lighting Day. As a mental health practitioner especially, it will pair, I think it will be a good bookend to the Suicide Awareness Month that takes place in September. And this is, I think, this is put on by Compassionate Friends, is that correct? Yes. So this is a welcome addition, I think, in recognizing those who have lost children, or if they are siblings, or whomever they might be. I think this is a nice bookend to the Suicide Awareness Month. So I just want to thank Councilman Pointer for having proposed this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Thank you, Councilman Pointer.
Councilman President, while I appreciate the appreciation, I have to give the sentiment out to several individuals that had publicly expressed their losses. Out of respect, I prefer not to say names, just out of respect for it. So it's not an original item on my end. It's an effort to help raise awareness so that people know that you don't have to grieve alone. So hopefully people will read the resolution a bit more in depth to get that additional information. And with that, thank you all.
Thank you, Councilman Pointer. No. And we're also adding C, so if you have any questions or comments. Councilman President.
The C is the resolution that we are reading, right?
Yes.
I have technical questions on that.
Correct, there are, just for so that the record's correct, the two resolutions that were proposed, one by Councilman Coyle and one by Councilman Patil, will be added, and they'll also be under the clerks. I mean, on your agenda, the resolutions are just listed as number of orders, so they'll generally follow those resolutions.
Councilman, I have a question on the resolution that was added in the beginning of the meeting. So the ordinance that talks about the council decorum rules, the 6 minute, 4 minute, that all was taken care of, right? It is already signed. I saw the notice posted into the media, so it is pretty much signed. Now this is a resolution. My question to attorney is what is the lifespan of the resolution? Is this 1 year? It is at the end of the year. Typically, ordinance becomes a law. Resolution remains for a year, and you need to continue to. That's my understanding. I may be wrong, but my question is whether this resolution will end on 31st December 2024, and we will reintroduce. Okay.
No, I think, well, Council, I think at the very least it's an expression of this council, and this council's term doesn't end until the end of 2025. but I think it's an expression of the council, so.
Okay, I would have preferred that to be dated somewhere reflecting the effective end date of this resolution. That's number one. Number two is why we are passing the resolution, why we are not repealing the ordinance and putting it back with the appropriate verbiage, language, clauses, so that there is no confusion. And anyone comes to the next council president, it will not up to his or her discretion to decide what is what to be called, what words to be chosen. Again, this is my thought process. Rather than passing the resolution, I would have preferred to repeal the ordinance and redo the ordinance in good faith and introduce that so that there is a transparency.
So I believe that this resolution, the ordinance, first of all, does not target any specific thing. It's very content neutral. And this resolution essentially intends to capture the fact that the ordinance was content neutral. And the main idea being the rules of decorum will be enforced only when there's a disruptive and inefficient, disruptive to the orderly and efficient execution of the Township Council's ability. And that being the key content here, that makes sure that the ordinance does not get activated otherwise. But Luke, if you can speak more to it.
Yeah, I think Councilman, I think you pretty much summarized it. The purpose of the ordinance was actually to be, well, let me take one step back. You've always had an ordinance that regulated acts that reach decorum, right? That is what your ordinance said. The ordinance that you adopted actually it actually tried to identify specific conduct so that you could put the public on notice and people could understand what decorum meant. And it actually was, and I know that, you know, it hasn't been perceived that way, but it actually is a restriction on the chair's ability to just decide what this chairman or that chairman or this chairman might decide what decorum means. So, and really it's the outgrowth of our joint insurance fund starting to recognize that these claims are out there unless you have specific kind of codes of conduct. So I thought that's all council wanted to do, and I think your resolution, as the council president says, explains, you know, once again, this is the characterization of this ordinance as banning the American flag. Of course, it's untrue. You won't know that. Nobody would have told you for that in the ordinance. And we're just making it clear that that's not what it meant. I think that's what the council's. I think that if I understand, you know, the council president's intent in doing that, but that.
Correct. The intent may be to correct the wordings, but only the difference. Again, I'm coming to the technicalities, and that's what I was asking. It's better to repeal the ordinance, and here is why. For ordinance, there is a public hearing. For resolution, there is no public hearing. It is now this body which is adopting this resolution, whereas the ordinance is published. People have an opportunity to come and discuss about the ordinance. Council members have an opportunity to discuss. It's the 2 meetings. It's not something put on the agenda and pass it and it is done. And if you look at from the way people are going to infer the ordinance, nor is going to look at the resolution, because this resolution is not really tied to the ordinance, even though technically it is supposed to be. But nobody is going to look, when I'm going to search at what the law is about the council decorum, and if somebody watches those YouTube videos, they're going to perceive this as the American flag is banned. And that is what I was saying, explicit in certain cases, given the outcry from public. Again, this is my opinion, and I will leave it to the rest of the council. But I'm happy at least we have something to clarify. Thank you, sir.
And as I stated, I think this resolution addresses the concerns of making sure that no American symbols are treated as a prop. And I think the ordinance in itself is very well worded. It is essentially recommended by JIF to ensure that we have something to, you know, something on the legal documentations.
Yeah, and that's perfectly fine. If we were going just to codify this, the second concern came in, I didn't finish my thought here. Is we changed the ordinance from 6 minutes to 4 minutes, yet today we allowed people to speak for 6 minutes.
That ordinance is not in effect.
It's not that big.
It doesn't take effect. It takes effect on the 16th?
Yes.
The 20 days?
It's 20 days after the mayor signs it, so.
So why did we allow rebuttal then?
Well, I don't think, just for the record, I don't think we allowed rebuttal. I think that what happened was that Councilman Brescher and Councilman Coyle asked that we reset the gentleman's time because we had gone offline.
So there were a couple of people who wanted to.
Yeah, but they didn't come back. People didn't come back twice.
But and this would allow it because of the new law, but the law wasn't in place yet. That's Councilman.
I thought you wanted to speak a second.
Yes.
It was not.
I still got
I thought it was on 30
Understood, if it is genuine mistake, I did that, thank you, sir.
Council President?
Yeah.
Just one comment, and I think that, I know we had the guidelines posted on there. One important note is that it has to be accompanied by an actual disruptive behavior. It's not that you can't do this and you can't do that by bringing something up, right? It has to be accompanied by an actual action that is a disruption to the meeting. So I think that type of clarification, I appreciate that's included in here. But I think that, to Councilman Patil's point, having that noted so that people are aware that that's what constitutes.
I think that needs to be noted to
Correct. No question about it. But not clearly is what your ordinance says, so if there's not any reason why. Yes, I agree.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Councilman.
And I think, just a little speak to this, I was trying to keep, the idea was to keep content neutral, and the idea kind of was not, that key portion was not conveyed. So I think after this conveying, I think we need to correct ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah. Councilman.
Yes, and on this ordinance, I understood your original intent wasn't to say the flag was a problem. But if you didn't say the flag was a problem, then you were opening yourself up to this whole thing being like arbitrary, kind of capricious here that means nothing. So, but you guys fell into that little trap there. But here's another question. So we still can't bring props, right?
If the props are being used to disturb.
Okay. So if somebody brings a Bible, one of our residents says they bring a Bible, they hold the Bible up like this towards you, right? That would be, oh, now you're saying that's right, but no. Holding it up like this is a prop.
No, it's not, but it's not, I think the point of it, Councilman, and I think that's where we're trying to get.
Well, that's what we're going.
So I think the point is that it's not disruptive. And I think that
Give me an example of what would be this.
How about throwing it at you?
Oh, throwing it.
How's that? So I mean, I'll give you a good, there's a good example. I mean,
Can we say that?
Well,
It's very simple.
well, I think that you do. I think that your ordinance says it's where the conduct is disruptive. So I think that's what it's.
That's subjective.
Well, that's the whole point, right? Is what's here is subjective, what we had before was subjective. So what you did was you took the scrambled egg, like I said before, right? You scrambled it instead of going right to left, you scrambled it left to right. It's still a scrambled egg, but the public right now is offended, they're outraged. They don't believe in your you're saying you're sorry. They believe it's intentional. They believe this is going to come back. When all the news goes away, you're going to say that, you can't bring a different flag up, or you can't take a Bible. So what they're asking for is just to repeal the ordinance. Very simple thing. But if you believe that you and 3 other council people are with the mayor, right, override the public, which I'm hoping you're asking to go down this road right now, okay? Don't repeal it. Don't repeal it.
Thank you, Councilman Brescher, but I think we are trying to clarify what's the, as it states on number 3, which is that rules and decorums are only enforced if those behaviors lead to a disruption. Which was not clarified.
It's not what the people asked for, so you're not doing what the people asked for, you're doing what you and the mayor deemed the kingdom of Joshi wants. And that's the point.
And that needs to
That
stop.
the people were here, that's why they were here, because they believe you work for them. You're showing them that you don't.
Exactly.
And I'm actually okay with that, okay? But I just want to make a point that you're not working for the people, you're working for yourselves.
So just throwing.
Thank you, Councilman Brescher. Moving on to.
Council President, I
Councilman
just
Wilson.
wanted to hear from the councilman to clarify. He mentioned something important, which is different flags. Council Brescher, what different flags are you discussing?
I was about to say that, you owe me a
There you go.
There's no talking from.
No, that's it. So
Exactly.
when we were doing the flag thing, it's just more than that. It's the right, we don't stop people from carrying around a rainbow flag or anything else. We're very open and everything. And this here is, because it's arbitrary, it was arbitrary before, right, if you read it. And this is still arbitrary. And so they're both arbitrary. You've done nothing to make anything better. And the people ask you just to repeal it without your own arrogance or the mayor's arrogance, because I believe he actually controls this council. Okay, I don't believe we're an independent body. Because of his actions, we're not doing what the people ask. And that's my point. I think this ordinance and the one we had before will be exactly the same. They're arbitrary, right? But the people ask you. And I'm just trying to point out that it is an arrogance that comes from upstairs, and that's it. So don't repeal it. Prove the public right.
Okay. Moving on to number 16 from the council member of the planning board.
The next meeting is next Monday, the 16th, 7 p.m. here in council chambers. Thank you, Council President.
The number 17 will be scratched because we're removing ordinance 2241. We will wait for that. It'll be rescheduled for January 8th. Moving on to discussion items, starting with, on my left, Councilman Pointer.
Thank you, Council President. I'm going to skip over B. We've kind of discussed that at length today. Just a general update. I've asked for a follow-up, and I've had conversations with the administration in regards to the potential zoning adjustments along the Greenway, and just getting that feedback. So I just wanted to make mention that that is in the works. And then we had been contacted in regards to, this is on IRC on my list, certain aesthetics on the south side of Edison, particularly with the amount of cars at auto dealerships, just the quantity and how they kind of overflow. I know that zoning and traffic is currently working on it, so my request, I guess, is at the next meeting, if I can get like a general update from the administration. Thank you, Councilman Spittle.
Regarding the decorum ordinance, I had to write because I had a lot to say. 7 years ago, Edison made national news with the infamous racial flyer. It was a stain upon this town that has never been removed. Fast forward to these past couple of weeks and it's deja vu all over again, this time with what amounted to 4 council members forming a circular firing squad and abandoning all common sense and adopting the disastrous decorum ordinance as it was originally set down. What has unfolded since then has been a horror show whereby once again our town is mired in negative headlines across the country because of an ill-advised, unforced error. I had been away during all of this, but even on vacation I was following very closely the latest developments. Some of the developments were brought to my attention unavoidably through vulgar emails, several of which called me the C word, and others that were threatening, telling me to watch my back. I'm sure my council colleagues received similar nasty communications. Needless to say, none of this is surprising in the wake of the November 25th meeting, most of which I watched when I arrived at my destination. I take no pleasure in stating that my adamant opposition to the ordinance was based on the frivolity of the rules set forth, knowing that chaos would follow, and follow it did. Perhaps it might have been better if council had allowed me the courtesy I had requested of delaying the final approval until I came back from vacation for the December 11th meeting, but alas, apparently there was some unknown urgency in the rush to adopt this ordinance, so here we are. Unfortunately, the apologies that were issued 8 days after the ordinance was approved were, to the masses, too little too late. During this past week, I've received communications from several media outlets asking if I would be willing to comment on the brouhaha around this ordinance. I replied flatly that I would not be issuing any comments to any news outlets. Rather than risk making a bad situation worse, I prefer to see this colossal error handled and better still fixed in-house. The resolution set forth this evening helps clarify the original ordinance, but it basically reflects the point I was previously trying to make all along, which was that ultimately what falls under the category of a disruption is at the discretion and common sense of the presiding council president. Actually, from what I've observed, in most cases, the disruption has come more often from the council side of the chamber when it's the public's turn to say their piece. As we move forward, I would like to see us be more discretionary in interrupting public speakers. In addition, I believe apologies are owed to Christo and to Joel Bassoff in particular for their unjust removal from meetings. The residents who are stalwart in either attending the meetings in person or watching them on Edison TV or YouTube deserve nothing less than our respect and attention in return. Let's view this event as a teachable moment, turn the page and do better, starting now, so that we can get back to doing the necessary work and business that Edison demands from us. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Council President.
You forgot yours. Follow the council.
No.
Council President.
I got thrown out the list. Okay.
Okay, I would not be able to cover pretty much everything. It's close to 10 o'clock. I'll start fairly quickly. Glendale status, including the plan. Do we know?
Bati, is there an echo for Councilman Bati? Bati. There's an echo for Councilman Bati. You want to try anything, Councilman?
Sure. Sanya, any update on the Glendale property?
We have no update, Councilman Patino.
Any updates on flooding remediations? I don't see the department head, so I will skip. That's the link to the department head. The couple of those that Ronnie can answer me questions. Township website. Anyone checked on the website? Anyone done any due diligence in clicking every single link, every single form?
Yes.
We spend a lot of money. I'll tell you, we still see some of the PDF files which have mail like this name there on some of the forms. There are some links, if you look at the metadata when you search, it reflects some other town name. That is the reason I asked the question, have anyone done the due diligence before rolling this out? So if you want, I can send you the report that I have prepared, so we can fix those things.
Yes, that would be appreciated.
Thank you. Resident concern, I think I sent you an email on the water bill.
Yes, that was taken care of.
That is taken care of?
Yes.
Okay.
Middlesex Water.
Perfect, thank you, I appreciate that. And the question on the various township projects, I will send an email if I can get where we stand in terms of the toll center, how far we have progressed, what is the date looking, what is the completion date, and how much money is spent. Same thing is for the sport complex. It's a proposed date, what date we are looking forward to. Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, Councilman Pato. As for me, I just wanted to follow up on the central bike path and the JCP&L. I understand we got a grant for the JCP&L, Sonia?
Yes, we have two separate grants actually, Council President, and one for Central Ave.
So once we accept it, what's the process if you can walk me through it?
So once we accept the grant, we'll wait for the funding. Meanwhile, our township engineer has been working on those plans, as well as our legal team. Mr. Burns has been working on the JCP&L agreements.
Did we get any further information from JCP&L?
I have not, but I will touch base with him.
Okay. Councilman Coyle?
Thank you, Council President. I just had we talked about the economic developer. I asked the administration if some funding can be spent that is in the budget for the economic development for marketing for Edison. Is that, and the second question was, are we gonna roll over this difference into 2025 because we didn't spend any of the money that was set forth? And it is an important role. And I know it's been challenging to fill, the fact we haven't done anything.
Your question regarding the allocation of funding for next year's position? Yes, we'll take that into consideration. We are discussing the budget right now.
And are we gonna roll over the budget from this year into next year as well? Or are we gonna use those funds back in the general budget?
So anything that we don't expend, obviously there be a positive there. So, any positions that we haven't filled.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Brescher?
Since it's getting late, I'm gonna make it quick. I'm not gonna talk about B, C, D, and E, still looking into those things, but Simon, fire alarm. Can I get the inspection report, the last inspection report for A, for all of our buildings that we have?
We'll get back to you. That bid was awarded for the fire alarm system, so that's being worked on.
Okay, so, okay, well.
I don't know if that your question relates to that, but it's being, it was
Okay,
awarded,
then
council
maybe
adopted.
if I'm expecting to see fire alarms working.
It is working, yes.
So they are working, old smoke
Yes, sir.
detectors work, all of that, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then can we just get the report from the companies that's all I'm asking, I just want to see where we are in the process. So like our fire department does one and then they collect it from the different companies because they actually test the system. So if I can just get those reports or the last ones, if you show me the last one from 2 years ago, you know I'm going to be upset, right? But I'm sure you've done one. And that's what I'm looking for. But that would be a council president.
Thank you, Councilman Brescher. Moving on to adjournment. May I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Do we have any executive meeting?
We don't have to let me. We can talk after.
That Wednesday.
Yeah. May I have a second for second? All right. That's, motion by Council Vice President, second by Councilman Quinn. All in favor?
And the people.
This meeting adjourns at 10:04 p.m. Sorry. Ms. Gloria.